Hello and welcome back to another fantastic week of Counter-Strike action here at the NACE Starleague. My name is Vincent. I'm joined by Cole or Exner Cass, and we are absolutely really invested in what's going to happen this week. Cole, why don't you tell me a little bit about what we have going on?
Yeah, we have another great set of best of threes for you all tonight. We had a great last week as well. And it's going to be continuing forward in the season here as we take a look at some of these matches we've got going on tonight. We've got Lebanon Valley College, one that made it deep into the playoffs. Well, not deep into the playoffs, but into the playoffs last season versus Penn State University, a newcomer into the season here in the spring season of NACE Starleague. And then our second one, some familiar faces, and then again, some new faces here in UC Riverside, taking on Cal Poly Slow. So exciting to see that.
Yeah, I'm thinking that we're definitely gonna see what this new Penn State roster has to show us. Like you said, new faces and UC Riverside, the Highlanders. I mean, they finished off with fourth place last semester, so they're very much ready and looking to prove themselves as we move forward. But well, let's shift our focus into that first game. That's LVC going up against Penn State University. Let's see what we have to work with here. The big returning player is going to be Bat Speed here for Lebanon Valley College, who are at 2-0 at the moment. On the Penn State side of things, this is a pretty darn good team. You and I were taking a look at it. Who are your ones to watch for this Pennsylvania State side?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. You're going to want to keep an eye out here for Umar. He's going to be one of the most experienced players on this roster. He's going to bring a lot to the team. And on top of that, he plays a pretty important role, and he's played it at a high level, being an Opper in what was previously Premier. It's one to be scary. It's one to look out for sure. I mean, the record shows he's 1-1 versus an LVC who's rocking at 2-0, but still, this roster is nothing to write home about. This is very scary. They can do damage, and I think that LVC, they could be in for a rude awakening if they don't come in firing on all cylinders tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But I mean, LVC, they were the surprise factors last semester.
Mhm.
I don't think anyone really was prepared for LVC to make the playoffs. And granted, I think it's fair to say that they had the positive of being in a division where
Mhm.
Ryerson was the really only difficult team to overcome. But they actually did overcome Ryerson in the regular season and were able to finish best in the Northeast Conference, if I'm not mistaken. So it
Mhm.
was impressive to say the least. They've lost to one of those big bits of firepower, and now Batspeed is that main source of firepower. He has main experience in
Mhm.
ESTA and is one definitely to look out for. Whilst the rest of the team, they're kind of all over the place, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, Bat Speed is definitely one to keep an eye out. Like you said, I see that guy in DMs all the time. He's always putting in work in the background. So it's definitely exciting to see him coming back for another season. But like you mentioned, kind of the history of LVC, like last season, able to make it into playoffs despite losing to Ryerson in that conference champion. They beat him in the regular season. And I remember in that Ryerson interview that they were kind of mentioning a lot of players were getting warmed up back into Counter-Strike. They weren't necessarily playing with their full force. They were playing with their full roster, but, there were some breaks in between the seasons where there was a lot of time off. And, once you get back, you have to get it warmed up and all of that. So that was kind of the excuse for that regular season loss. Still, though, I mean, LVC with that victory and bringing back a lot of the core minus Bauer, a scary loss for them. It still offers up a lot of potential to do some damage with a main core of this roster. And again, time to grow in this offseason.
Yeah, that's the other thing that really kind of I think gets lost on in sometimes, right? Is the fact that they've had all this time, throughout December and January to potentially be
Hmm.
practicing together, plugging together, even just hopping in the game and playing, just with one or two of you. That creates a lot of underlying things that can really help you in a team environment. So it
Hmm.
definitely is not something to throw away. But let's take a look at how the pick and ban went here for these two teams. I know that you and I have kind of talked about the collegiate classics and how we tend to see those, but Mirage is out first, and LBC have taken it, followed by Vertigo. So Inferno, first map. What do you think?
I think that's a very good pickup there. I mean, that is part of the collegiate classics there for sure. Definitely going to be one of the strong suits there for LVC, at least historically. They've looked pretty good on this map. And heading into Ancient, though, as the second one, I'm very interested to see that. Penn State picking into that one, Penn State University, that is. It's a good pick, to be honest with you. I think that Umar has historically succeeded on this map. They've looked pretty good on this versus some very high-level competition when he was in Premier. So that being said, I think that he's going to offer up a lot of that experience. And even last week, we were talking about how these more experienced players can diversify map pools for these teams, and definitely you can see it right now in the vetoes. Umar's bringing that level. He's going to help out in terms of how he wants to maybe work those rotations and try and find picks on this map, maybe show his teammates some nice tricks and executes there as well. So excited to see that. And of course, you know, we have to finish things out on Overpass. We wouldn't have it any other way.
That's exactly right. I mean, Overpass, I think, is a great map to end on as well. I think
Mhm.
if we get to Overpass, it's going to be a bit of a shootout. My initial thoughts, though, based on what I've been able to ascertain, is that, well, LVC, they got their work cut out for them. They were able to kind of take advantage, like we've laid out, of a weaker conference,
Mhm.
of a Ryerson early. It was very early in the season as well, like you were mentioning. I think it was either week 1 or week 2
Yeah,
that
first
matchup.
match.
Yeah, so they were able to take advantage of a Ryerson on their back foot, and so once it got down to the wire, things didn't work out for them. Now they've lost that big piece of firepower at Bauer, and in fact, they're going up against some huge firepower. You talked
Mhm.
about Umar, but Kize is absolutely fantastic. Plays in main with Orion, and I've seen this player play a couple of times as well, and I don't think that we need to underestimate them. Kind of having
Mhm.
that secondary star to lean on if you're an Umar is really, really important for getting over the hump. And as we move into the likes of Ancient, I think having that team experience is really going to hurt LVC. They probably haven't played a lot of Ancient, whereas
Mhm.
I know for a fact, like you said, Umar has. And I know that, I mean, once you get into main, you're going to have to start picking up some more maps than just these collegiate classics that we tend to see.
Right, and even what's nice here is that they get that Vertigo ban out as well. That was one map that LVC really had in their pocket, and that being the first ban of them is a great sign here. But I think a lot of these maps do kind of rely on secondary players, secondary roles, and while bat speed is certainly one to keep an eye out for over on the LVC side, there isn't that supporting staff as much as there is on Penn State, at least not in the history, at least not in the experience level. So, with that being said, I think that again it kind of furthers Penn State University's ability to potentially pull off this victory, maybe move themselves on to 2-1, and LVC is going to be one of the more competitive rosters in this level. They are certainly going to do some damage here. I think Drexel as well is in this. So, you know, again, once we head into the later stages, getting into playoff territory, it becomes a really important matchup here potentially for these two teams.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I mean, LVC's got a good start though, right? They're 2-0.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
they have taken the initial difficulties of getting the season starting out on a high note, and put themselves in that sort of position. So I think we got to give them credit for what they
Hmm.
have done, what they accomplished last semester, and kind of what they've been working on throughout that off time. Because like you've been talking about, you know, this Penn State side, they're new to the NACE Starleague. I don't know if they've been playing you know, together in any sort of way elsewhere, but
Hmm.
I do know, you know, for certain with players that have other commitments to other rosters, you tend not to get as much team play experience with your collegiate team. And as unfortunate as that is, usually the collegiate team takes the back seat. So the
Hmm.
fact that LVC don't have as many schedules to juggle, they probably are going to have a little bit more practice.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about this LVC team is they are off to a pretty good start. You know, despite like we had said, losing some of those members from last season, at least in Bowers, since they seem to have not been too phased by it. I think they've won a match 2-0, a match 2-1, so they've also shown that they can go the distance if it does head into those three maps. But we have good news for you here. We are going to be hopping in to LVC's map pick over on Inferno. Here we'll see how they can kick things off for the first map of the day.
And indeed, here we go. Penn State CT side, LVC on the T side, and already going to be seeing that flashbangs over the top there. And it's actually a bit of a ruse. LVC moving back in towards Banana, and they're pretty fortunate that there's nobody fully pushed up this Banana area. They're going hot and heavy, pushing into this B site. First pick going the way of LVC. No trades to be found. As the site, it gets overtaken for just a moment, but this
Ooh.
crossfire setup is absolutely phenomenal. That's 4 players down, despite the bomb plant, and Batspeed was alive and has now joined the rest of his team in the grave.
Yeah, I think that new box player was extremely tricky to deal with. On top of that, there was a crossfire pretty lethal that they were working off of as well there. So, wonderful Penn State University retake there. I guess it wasn't really much of a retake. It was more of just a complete denial. We do have Umar disconnected here early on, but sure he'll be back here shortly. But great defense after the post plant goes forward.
It is indeed. And yeah, it's so imperative that you clear out that new box position, right? You can get caught up in trying to get the plant down, especially with the initial frag going your way. That player in CT was entirely caught unaware, but you really have to make sure to clear everything out. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
you open yourselves up to that sort of crossfire, which, by the way, you have to give credit, over to the LVC, or rather to the Penn State side of things, that they did a good job taking advantage of that.
Yeah, they sure did. It was very effective here. Great defense offered up. Now, we do have Umar back into the server, so we are heading into the action once again. And off that bomb plant, right now I'm not seeing any force buys from LVC. They're kind of investing somewhat, not necessarily the full buy that we oftentimes see once you get those post plants. But overall, we'll see if they can get the job done with a couple of Deagles here and try to get that third round buy in. Umar just looking to shut things down. We might see a couple of rounds like this where Umar is just taking control of things. Ooh, look at this aggression, though.
Aggression, though, might not matter as everyone falls out. Nell, not even phased in the slightest. Finds 3 kills. Haley Cat, the other couple. Penn State, 2 rounds. I mean, that's to be expected, but still, nicely done.
Yeah, super clean right there as they pop out of the apartment side of things. Able to offer up plenty. It's LVC now with the guns. This is a good start here. We'll see what they can gather in banana control. These are just landing down range. A team kill in the mix, and they actually go positive on the trades with that. Oh no. At the very least, you do have a low HP bar onto Umar. Not sure how that team kill came forward, but a rough start for LVC. See if they can bounce back here. Potential apps pop coming through here completely on the lurk, though, is Big T.
See how this goes. It's a well-timed molly, all things considered. Umar. I don't think it's going to really stall things out. As I say that, actually looks like the one player that was there now being joined by the bomb, and shortly thereafter. So LVC grouping up for what should be an A push. See the arch side being smoked.
They make fast movements here. They got a decent crossfire. One big pit, but quickly going down. Now it's just up to the mini pit player to stop the safe side attack, but no one's clearing it. Once again, it goes unchecked, and it good for 1 so far. Umar needs another. He's low on HP from earlier. Batspeed can't seem to connect just yet, and still alive finally to go down, though. After long last, Umar connects onto the wall bang here. It's bought time for rotates to arrive onto the scene, but Ofar denying any sort of further control and needs some support from his teammate over in the lane. Now with both angles being covered, and another one for Batspeed offered up, redeeming that team kill from earlier. Now needs to find one more. His teammate's gone down in the meantime. There's no armor. Trying to bait out the stop shot, but he holds steady. Batspeed with 3 and 4 in the round if you count the TK, but he gets the job done nonetheless.
Oh, there we go. LVC on the board. It's exactly the type of thing that was needed. And this, now you can see already the economy, Penn State, just not ideal. Gonna have to be buying in for the pistols. No real armor to back that up. I mean, P-Mints has a little bit, so does Umar, but otherwise, be light on all of that.
Get pretty fast movements on this arch ref. It might be being heard, but what can we really do to fight against it here? Umar boosted above the smoke. Oh, that might be helpful. Dropping the bomb in the middle of arches here. Recovered. Baggles. Grab that. Slide right by. He-Man's is going to find far over on the B side of things. And now they're collapsing in. Batspeed able to 180 fast up. Scoping. Look at that flick. That must have really done a number on the mouse pad there. Still, they're holding on to this 3v3 and a nice disposal of the weaponry. it does put Haley into a rough position. 1v3 on the A bomb site. Not even spotted out now. Able to clothesline the Opera of bat speed though, and put things into really awkward contention. A man advantage now to work off of.
The weaponry still looking pretty decent in the hands of Penn State. Nice aggression there. Baggle's good for the frag, but it's back and forth. Ultimately, it's Big T who does connect the final kill towards Haley. But man, that was so expensive, Cole. I mean, you cannot be dropping 4 players against what was, I mean, it was barely even a force. I mean, it really wasn't a force fight. You could really call that just a full eco with a couple of upgraded pistols. That's the type of thing that, I mean, if you're LVC, you got to be feeling that that's just so very dangerous and scary.
100%. They made that one expensive. No. Tapping back in. Back from the, I don't know. Ready to get back into the game, though, that's for sure. But, yeah, that was a bit of an expensive round. You want to clean those up a little bit more concise now. He can pass the smoke. They're isolated. Umar's going to easily clean that one up. Instant 4v5 there. Selected now heading towards the B-bomb site, at least somewhat. 3 players in that direction. On their way to an execution. Giaz and P-Mints offering up the defensive. There's good utility to counteract this, but move quickly. They may not have to worry too much about rotates.
P-Mints on its fight. They come through the smoke. Good continuation spray. P-Mints can't quite follow up on that second. It's Pize who does. So far, looking to find some trades and does pick up that singular frag. 2 alive for LVC. The bomb not planted. Coming to the smoke. Umar. Oh, can't quite find the connection to reload here so far, and now everyone is lined up there in the CT spawn. Bat speed all alone in the corner. Now mollied out. And it's just a matter of time. Patience play there by Pennsylvania. And in fact, the recovery of the EWP as well. Back in the lead.
Look what that round 2 on Sprite does to their money here after they just dropped 1. LVC just totally down in the doldrums, economically speaking here. They're going to buy up into some Tech 9s at Eagle, P250 here and there, but LVC potentially giving up 4 here at Penn State. Does he offer up a good CT defense? Peeking down middle here, Umar. Able to connect onto the first so far down. Getting that molly to continue to buy time. Walking inside of it. And he's able to line up multiples. Leaves Danker on last man standing as they push down B as well. Just trying to crunch in from all different directions. Is there a kill offered up? Potentially, but it's going to be unlikely.
This has been really solid whenever playing against the anti-eco, or playing the anti-ecos, I should say. Penn State have been on top of it. Everyone getting involved, everyone, you know, a little bit of cash farming, as they say. Now the upgrades come in. No more AP9. But looks to me that LVC don't really have the cash to purchase, do they? Yeah, the Eagles, that's what they've got.
Yeah, I mean, their money was really bad in that last round, and they did invest in, like, pistols upgrades, so it definitely is kind of forcing a double save here at the moment. At least Bagels is able to take down Umar. That's a nice silver lining here. Haley peeks down middle, though. Good for 1, 2, and a triple. 1 more. Running out of ammo. And the P250 to do the job. Bat speed as a trusty AWP, which is a good sign, and is staying alive. Yet to recover bomb, though. That's the only problematic thing about this round. On top of that, you know, 3 targets to take care of.
Well, bat speed. There we go. Clotheslining a man. P-Mints has fallen. And if you could, I mean, even saving this op would be phenomenal, but, well, it is, I mean, right here. Seems that bat speed has an idea. Yes, he does. Give him the frag. Oh, top mid, though. Nell. Bat speed is unaware. And LVC can't quite catch a break, despite some heroics.
I'm very nice at Tim for bat speed. It's a great eco. I mean, it was kind of sad that they had a double eco there for LVC. But if you get in that position, at least you're able to do plenty of damage. You deny an op in Umar's hand. That's a big alleviator. HE rolling down banana. Doesn't do as much damage as P-Mints would have hoped for. Hanging about here now in a pretty standard setup. 2-3. It's what we've been seeing so far. Pretty much. And just happy to concede that card control on the CT side.
Well, that's what you get when you get aggressive. Oftentimes, it's easy to get caught out, and Nell does. That's the opening pick that LVC have really been looking for, right? They've struggled to find openings in some of these gun rounds, in any rounds for that matter. Now they're going to immediately rotate themselves off onto the B site. Here comes the push. So far, pushing forward. It's going to be one taken out in even a second. There, LVC falling, but OFAR on the double trade. Keep everyone alive. Puts the bomb down.
Standing as well. Bat speed. His coffin's covered. Now turning his attention towards CT. Haley's position revealed here. No getting into this round. If bat speed covering your line right now. That's torn in the corner and still has to find 3 and the defuse. Seems so unlikely. Maybe looking for an kill here shortly. Committed to this. I feel like this is a certain save, but now that position's being cut off at the moment, they're closing in. A missed op shot, a rare one from bat speed, was able to make the work happen with the Glock in hand. So LVC moved to 3, and money is a little bit worse for wear again now on the Penn State University side of things.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, the adjustments they were working. I mean, I don't know if it was just a matter of that opening pick or if it was something else, but OFAR are doing a really good job of finding the correct trades, doing everything needed, and in addition to that, Big T with that opening frag, something that Lebanon Valley College really been lacking, but this is the type of thing I've been talking about, even on these pistol rounds, lacking that opening pick. It's Umar this time, on towards Bagels, and well, that just makes life even more difficult for the entirety of the T side, and even more so, Cole, is that you could see that utility is not great. They really only have enough to actually do a singular take here. The last of the flashes now going over.
Ooh, but that's a good entry there. The flashbang they had limited, yes, but it's useful. Taking down 1, and B's compromised now, so that they're back into evens with the post plant. Seems like they've recovered here somewhat. Hopping through the smoke. Actually, so far collect. Looking for more through the smoke here. One jumped into pool. Okay, spotted. So far. That 20/20 vision there on the side of the smoke. They look to close things out. Could be pretty clean recovery.
I don't know that I saw him there. I can see through walls.
I know. I mean, I surely wouldn't have seen him if I didn't have X-ray.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's crazy.
Well spotted, that's for darn sure. And LVC really clutching up around, and I mean OFAR in particular, I gotta say, really stepping up into this map, into this role. And especially, you know, after losing that opening pick, that's been a consistent problem for LVC. And now they have a chance to tie this game right up 4-5.
Oh, it's kind of familiar. Double save territory for Penn State University, who are into a little bit of a deco once again. Rush in from apartments from Umar, looking for an opening. He's been hungry for these. So he's spotted out. Now one towards middle. Quick trade, and that's an AK retrieved as well. Onto one of the heavy hitters.
More can be done. I mean, Umar, yeah, having that AK, definitely deadly. There's 3 players committed to this B site. Yeah, pistol, sure, but we know those can be a deadly weapon in the hands of Penn State. Flash, the team flashes. OFAR comes in. Big T doing work. It's so far on the trades, but they're even. Back and forth. 2v2. There's a plant. Looks to go down. OFAR ready and waiting for the player to come through the smoke. Spots the toe and connects the shot. Now it's all onto Umar.
Like him in this situation, but he still has to get past bat speed's AWP here. Not yet fully holding the line. Knows that there's likely not get picking up some timing there, and Umar will go down. Nicely done from bat speed. His head to head between these 2 players continues, but there is a lot of support here. I mean, this is just as competitive as we both thought it could be. Double up though, immediately invested into. Penn State University, I feel like they need to figure out something to really lock down the hatches over on B. It seems like right now, a lot of controls given over towards Carr. Really limited presence there, but oh my goodness, Umar, what a shot to things off. Baggles, watching from the sidelines right now. And same for Ofar.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think that you made a great point. The thing is that's kind of exactly what they've done here with the double up setup. If they put one of those towards B, they get an early pick over at Banana. It really, really limits LVC's opportunities to get invested in that area of the map. And so you can see what it's done. I mean, they're all grouping up and pushing out now with very limited utility. And it's a shooting gallery. Now with a double. And Haley, just a singular frag there. But yeah, I think that if lacking the adjustment of just getting aggressive with utility over there at Banana, using the op to deny that space is just as effective.
100%. Yeah, that's a great adaptation right there from Penn State University. It would require a couple saves to get there, but I'm sure they'll happy to take that, considering they just got a flawless defense in the previous round. And now they do have that utility. Now they have that full force of firepower. You know, you potentially could start 3B and still try and continue to do damage, but this round is actually an eco from LVC. Again, no one's really had that good control of the economy things. Both sides have been limited in investments quite a bit.
It's a good point. Penn State, I think, probably would have been in a better spot this game if they could have just strung a couple more of their rounds together, right? You know, instead of having them interrupted as they have had, considering the fact that they just couldn't buy in half those rounds, and a double save. That's something that, I mean, in current Counter-Strike, you really don't see a ton of double saves all that often.
Right. Especially
it's
on the T side.
It's force buy or go for the full save, one or the other, not kind of half and half like we've seen.
It has been a bit atypical here. Now they've spotted out the op of bat speed. They might have heard that shot fired off. So I wonder, do they think this is a full investment? It's just kind of that hero up from bat speed. I kind of do like this from LVC. He's going to be a player capable of delivering damage. Oh, speaking of damage, Umar down to 1 HP at the moment. Has to deal with some of these few players at least aggressing here further in towards Arch. He's taking a very passive approach at the moment, and it seems like the rest of the team on LVC is getting this called over. We have full control of brackets. We have full control of Arch now. As you can see them further and further pushing in. Oh.
Nice shot. It's a bit of a trade back and forth as Batspeed finds Kize, but Umar finds one on the B side of things. So, backwards do I have that, but nonetheless. And, lots of things happening at once there.
There we go.
A couple kills for Haley. There's Umar in the cleanup. And, not sure exactly how it went down, but I can tell you the outcome. And it was Penn State.
This is like a play-by-play caster's worst nightmare right there.
Yeah.
Just getting a full kill feed of kills. Oh, man.
All at once.
That was funny. P90 from Dankeron. Okay. I like the name. Fitting for the weapon.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll see what he can do. Fast Arch. And so maybe this high mobility can be good. The Molly caught it out. And there you go. Big T opening things up. Now it's Snell to hold the line. Only good for 2. Actually doing a lot of damage as well. Inside the flames. Still Umar to deal with. One on the site as well.
Oh.
Well, he does deliver. Threading the needle nicely. Leaving it all into bat speed. A little late to the party.
Well, unfortunately, that P90 didn't do much of anything. Don't know if it was really the fault of the weapon, but wide swing from PMNs. That's beautiful. That's exactly the sort of swing you want against the AWP, and Batspeed was not ready. Penn State, is that 3 in a row now that they've been able to pick up?
Yes. Yeah, tied up 5-5 at one point, and you saw a couple, double saves in from LVC. They get that gun round in the previous, and Umar crushes their dreams alongside Haley. Doing a great job. Or rather, Nell was the one to find the multi-kill. Either way, though, this is the utility usage I wanted to see earlier on. And some of those B holds taking that early ground, they're just going to get mowed on through. Limited chances here for sure is, well, maybe they're able to do something, but another headshot rolls on in. Low HP bars on a few. Bat speed at least standing a little healthier than most here. An AK in his hands as well. The only issue, no armor at the moment. At least they do have the numbers punched in.
Well, That's a small positive, but this is actually a bit scary. Playing around this smoke. It's a really clever angle. Oh, but I think given away by the molly, if I'm not mistaken. Now, just 1 versus 3. Nell takes out Dinkron with some ease. Who was playing in the inside the area. Penn State, you know, I gotta say their retakes, the speed with which they've come back into some of these sites is really impressed me.
Yeah, that start of the round right there was pristine for Penn State University. That's exactly how you want to deal with a B rush. You get your utility down, you do that damage, and you don't stick around towards car. If you know that 5 players are heading your way, a lot of players, they get hungry in those positions and they hold their ground. They try and stand tall. You do that and you die going, you know, no kills forward. You very quickly feel like the round is lost and that you've lost the sight. But they instead fall off wisely and are able to gather a bit of ground here. That's a nice opening kill. Baggles was a secondary up on the T side. Not too often that you see that, but still silenced from Umar's AWP on his own side of things.
Yeah, I'm feeling, or I'm smelling some desperation there in that double op. Right? You know, the point I often make about double op is that it can really be a desperation play, and sometimes it is, sometimes it's just a good adjustment. This one definitely feels like the former rather than the latter. But we'll see if Dacron can put something together. Now, nice adjustment to dodge on that flash as Big T is felled in one fell swoop. Still 3 on towards A as the push is actually B. He's A on the site. This double op. Looking for more. Oh, what a fantastic flick that is. Looking for more. Up over the top. Ofar can't quite find the connection. No, finally does. It's now left to 2. LVC in a tough spot, especially considering this flank from Nell. Shut down 1 and 2 frags. Ofar had no chance on that pre-fire. 10-5 of the half.
Yeah, and right now what we're seeing is an incredibly clean Pennsylvania State University roster, and it's a full team effort. Umar's sitting in the middle of the pack there, but it has been high impact, and the adjustments from Penn State as well, they've been good. They've been very solid. The double up was a great answer. You talk about how it's desperation, and while it did kind of start out that way, it seemed to have been a comfort that they could really rely on. That's into a pistol. This one's kind of important for LVC. I really need to get this one going on the second half, get a good CT side lockdown, and I wonder what they have in store for us to gather that.
We'll have to see.
Smoke.
This is actually a very nice one. You don't often see that in collegiate, I don't think.
Zumo throwing that out, though. He knows it. There's one more in Big Pit. They don't even realize.
How have they not cleared this? This is outrageous. Penn State got to clear it. Bad Speed is the one there, and he's perfect for it. As I say that, they didn't clear Kize out either. Bad Speed, still hitting shots, tapping heads, making moves. And there's only 12 health remaining between the 2 remaining Penn State players. Speedmans on the upside here. One on the site, and he's down and out. The defuse. Oh my goodness. This is happening. The full 10-second or the push coming through. There's not a lot of time left, and it's too far gone. But Bad Speed, it's all the shots. Gets the ace, but can't win the round.
What a heartbreaker. Man, that is just so tragic. Their Bat Speed putting up a phenomenal effort in the Big Pit. And it was designed for the setup right there that, you know, maybe they don't check that Big Pit position. But if you just consider getting into good post-point positioning, ideally you would just have one there, right? You just have a player in the Big Pit on the T side, even if you weren't planning on clearing it.
It's crucial to set up any of the post-plant crossfires that make retaking A on Inferno so hard.
Seen this before, though.
Oh, boy. Who was it last semester who pulled the Negevs?
Gosh,
was it LVC? I think it was LVC now that I'm thinking about it.
Big T was, I think, a criminal Negev user, yes.
Criminal.
And he's going to have to do it again. After the fountain, he converts with 2. Look at this. It's never failed, not once.
Listen, I can't argue with the results, Cole. I can just say that it feels like it shouldn't work, but it has.
It just always works. It's crazy. The smoke's faded away, though, and they're going to get caught jumping up. Bat Speed finds 2 kills nonetheless. And, you know, that pistol ace afforded him that A1S, and so able to bounce right back. But my God, man, those Negevs in LVC's hands, it's like, it's surreal. I've never seen anything work that well that's so off meta.
I hearken. Well, I was about to say actually, I hearken it back to you may or may not remember, but back in the day, you used to see like Get Right pull out an auto, like an auto sniper.
Yeah.
Every once in a while on Inferno, it feels like that, like that sort of thing. Only it was Get Right, so you're like, well, you know, I can say it's not meta, but it's Get Right. So, who's really listening to what I have to say? But here we go again. It's a double kill,
yes.
Double headshot, down and out. And the spray continuing here. Bagels has help, and Umar, poor guy, just ran straight into it once again. Oh my goodness, these are so entertaining, but I can't believe the effectiveness either.
So Big T has now doubled his kills in the first 2 rounds, or well, first 3 rounds of the half, with the Negev.
You know, what can he
I guess
say?
he did
He's
get
a
a molly
Negev
kill in the
abuser.
mixer, but yeah, I think his at one point at least his Steam group was 2 crosses and a Negev in the middle. So
That's classic.
he's a devout worshipper of the Negev.
Oh, here we go, Mag 7. Your favorite. Not gonna be able to do much this time. A little bit of damage maybe in P-Ments, and that's a wide swing. He's lucky to get a frag, if we're being completely honest. It's a nice HP, though, on the follow-up to bat speed. Doing bat speed things.
Gotta be careful for that spam there. Narrowly avoiding. There's a deagle. Haley looking to do some damage here. Isn't much to be said for this A-side attack, though. There's still a lot to be dealt with as well, with kind of a third player hovering over in that direction. Even stronger setup.
If LZC win this, can we say it was the Negev that changed the game?
Saved them. I mean, if you consider it, if they lose that force buy,
Yeah.
it's 13-5.
Right.
And that is a very difficult scoreline to come back from. It's possible, but it's difficult. It's trialing, and that is, I mean, it was a very underrated round. You know, we laughed about it, but it was a big, and pulling out a second one and easily punishing that force buy that came through from Penn State University. This is big as well.
I mean, it's a very inventive play. I think that we, like you said, we laugh about it, but we also are giving it credit because it is something that is different. Nobody really expects it because it's not very traditional. So, Penn State really would love to find something here, and oh man, Bad Speed got absolutely demolished on that swing. He had the advantage in everything. He had no idea he was there. And Bagels, he was one. He had a shot. That AWP worked, but he ended up getting traded immediately. So this round, the first gun round, full gun round of this half, really not working very well for Lebanon Valley College as it is.
100%. And right now I'm seeing some pretty good T-side defaults running out from the Penn State University thing. You could tell that they are, if not putting in good work as like scrim side of things, they definitely have some fundamentals down pat, such as flashing banana, kind of keeping bagels, or bagels rather, at bay at the moment. Coffin smoke being thrown out here for P-Mint CT to combine with it, so it's going to isolate far from the site, making it tricky when he dives in towards Emo. Now spotted, and everyone turning their attention. It's far too much. Rather, that's Big T in the back line, but I think this is an easy call for the save from the 2 remaining players.
No doubt whatsoever in my mind either. So it's going to be a ceasefire called between these 2 squads for the moment, as they both go to their corners, reset, save weapons if you're the LVC side of things. OFAR and Nacron, especially that AK for OFAR, you definitely want to keep that in control. That moving. The double up in mini pit is always like an interesting idea for me. I know it's pretty effective at times, but also it feels very dangerous. Like one molly or one HE that somebody just has and they're hanging on to, you know, and you suddenly can be very, very low, very fast. But you get away with it. Penn State, I mean, they don't have the money to really go for that push anyway.
Yeah, not too interested in the hunt. And so LVC giving up 12 here. There's plenty of money for teammates to buy up here, and of course, if you're going worth the Negev, such as Baggles, you should be golden. A little bit late on the CT defense, but it shouldn't get punished here. Getting some early utility down Banana. Again, we're going to see this default come on out. Penn State University, that worked out well for them in the previous. That was a wide jump swing right there.
It can be hard, you know, sometimes to get that correct. But
Ooh.
man, bat speed. Trying to play a wide angle, that was a good idea, but he gave up on the idea. And it was Kize who was just in position, ready to deny that on the swing. So it didn't matter if he came from the left to the right. Ofar is good for a trade, so LVC keep things even.
And in good position at the moment, at least. All things considered. Now, that is going to slowly fade away as you see Big T join up in that B-side defense. Now it leaves only 2 defenders. So in this 4v4, while you're holding on to an even situation, it's 4v2 on the A-side defense. And now, if you do walk up the lane and you do quickly, Ankron is far removed from his teammate, but still finding a kill through the smoke. That's big. That alleviates some of the stress here. Now put onto the likes of Ofar in the back lines here. Tucked in towards the cover. He was only 27 HP to his name. Backs return though. Quick trades delivered. Running through the moto smoke. Could be a risk. Inside of the site. 1 kill in for the likes of Big T. Trade answer back in a fast flight coming through. Baggles to drop Umar. No clutch to be had here as LVC bounce right back.
Yeah, that bounce back good. And here's where Penn State are absolutely loving that they didn't go hunting last round. Everybody but Haley has enough for the full utility gamut, essentially. I say that Umar actually a little bit low as well, but this is a very strong purchase because of the fact that they kept 4 players alive in that winning round. And looks like some initial fighting here for Banana. Nell is taking a boatload of damage for the trouble, and that follow-up HE, though, quite on target. But still, the smoke might create a false sense of security for Lebanon Valley College. You can see that there's some aggression. It's Big T who pushes forward. Baggles in the trade, but it's Umar who's there as well. So the numbers working out in the favor of Penn State. They that lead push, and oh, that could have been brutal. Could have been a pretty much deadly find, Ize, but ultimately, player stays alive.
Everything going on in this round is so very awkward here, but it seems like finally there is going to be a commitment towards this B-side attack. There's one in the second oranges. I think he's playing Trigger Discipline as well. Spots out one, spots out the planter here. Double kill in, no one's cleared him out. Almost good for 3, and has delivered massive damage on the Haley. Potential here as they look to push through the smoke to hold their ground here. Not just yet. Bat speed still paired with the AWP, and that's exactly why. Capable of finding kills like that. Now it's easy. And a 1v2. Ofar has joined up with his teammate in Coffins. 2 pretty low HP bars at the moment. Still bomb yet to be received. Backline is being covered. And time is ticking. 15 seconds left onto the clock. And Ofar holding this angle. Will clothesline and find the kill. LVC move forward with 10 right there.
You know, going back to our storyline, right, Cole? Our conversation was who's going to be the secondary guy, right, for bat speed, because we know Kizi and Umar, they kind of have that 1-2 punch available to them, but it's been really, really good from Ofar to be that second guy, that second big fragger, and make the plays whenever it's necessary. It's been impressive, I think, from him, and if he continues to do that, I mean, this is going to be a very competitive series overall.
100%. Couldn't agree more there. They look to be covering nicely on the CT side. They've been offering up great defenses. I mean, right there. Oh. That thought. And Baggles dropped a B defender here. It shouldn't get out of control too much. There's no armor besides in the backs of Haley. So that's going to be a bit scary to deal with. You sort of close in towards the A-bomb site. Still 3 players to deal with. Make that one less, though, as P-Mitz is able to P250 down bat speed of all people. Now looking to hold the crossfire. They do successfully. Ofar and Dankron will recover lost space here as Nell has gone around. Pick up the AWP that was dropped over Banana.
Another big bailout moment there from Ofar and from Dankron. 2 apiece on the round. Nell And realistically, I should just save, right? But we used to be going for it, at least trying to find some sort of entry. So far, we'll hear a scope here in a moment. I'm not sure, but now certainly not finding anybody willing to give away that free frag to try and open things up to the 1v3. Third spot by Ofar. And that is LVC just one round away from tying this game back up. Remember, it was tied 5-5, and then things kind of turned around, and Penn State ran away with it. This is a impressive turnaround.
100%. We haven't seen a resurgence either from Penn State University right now. We've only seen a flash in a pan gun round, and yet to really string things together. Important to do so on your T side as well. You need to get 2 in a row. You need to try and crack that economy of the CT side. It's a massive win condition on Inferno, which you so often look for successful T sides, keeping that money light. It was something that, even though LVC only got 5 rounds, was able to do, and that's a touchdown. 2 HGs landing right on the head of Nell, putting him down early, putting things into a quick 4v5 as well.
And remember, my point back in the first half is that Lebanon Valley College really struggled to find opening picks. Here's one that they do find, and I mean, even when they've lost it, like I think last round, Baggle's losing early, it hasn't been deadly like it was there in the first half. Now, granted, obviously playing against pistols will make that a little easier, but this is not pistols. This is a gun round, and it's State to lose out. 4v5 now. All 4 of the players grouped up in one spot. Here in the bracket, looking to gain some arch side control via that smoke. And one pushing down a lane. Here we go. Flashbangs, mollies, HEs all over the top. Frags working out for the CTs. 3 for 1 on the trades. It's going to be Umar all alone. He's got the first frag. He's looking for the second. He connects it. So he set up, what is it? 1v2. And has the bomb.
Those numbers punched in. He gets so safely. They're chasing him down real quickly. He's able to isolate that first fight and not finding the second just yet. No trade, but he almost hits a flick. Umar in high pressure situations. He thrives in those. And he will close things out. What a phenomenal 4K from him. And that might just be what Penn State University need to close things out. It's not strained the economy just yet over for LVC, but my God, has it come close.
Yeah, this is... I mean, you can see $0, less than 100 on every player for LVC, so nothing doing this round is going to be crucial. In State, though, I mean, we talked about Umar being the potential guy for those clutch plays, but 1v4, I mean, those you don't see every day, even in a situation where likes of Umar is playing. Bat speed. He's had a bit of a slow one here in the second half, you could say. It's really been Ofar. And, well, everybody else, honestly, to find some of that success. But this time, he hits the opening frag, and it's Kize to fall. That's one of the big, heavy hitters.
100%. And it was just a repeat, showing some confidence there from Kize, or rather, bat speed, and a big pickup right there. Because, who's been consistently finding him was Kize.
Yeah.
Has to be a big reliever of stress here as they look to make their way towards the B-bomb site. You know what they have to deal with, too. Baggles, posted up.
Ooh.
They don't seem too interested, though. They seem to be walking away from this.
I wouldn't be interested. Get me out. I don't want any part.
No, thank you.
That thing is deadly, and I mean, as we saw against Ryerson in the opening matchup of the playoffs last semester, that there's not a lot of answers for it, seemingly. So,
Lying this fake though.
It's not worked though. I mean, there's not any less players committed to this A side in the take. It's not good. Ufar with a double kill. It's traded pretty advantageously, but that opening pick loss, still down by 1 and no, Umar. He's never allowed to get a second chance there.
Shut things down. And you're right, that fake it was being sold, it actually got everyone out of pit, and they nearly over-rotated right there. But just at the right time, they decided to hang back. They double up in sight, and they even had a moto player close by to come in for some support. And so LVC almost gave up the game. They were very close, especially considering they gave up their pit position. And those pit site crossfires have consistently toppled this Penn State University roster. Holding on strong here still. And LVC went off the tie.
Bat Speed continuing to show off that they are not out of this game yet. Give him a second. Clotheslining him, man. P-Mints is now fallen. Oh, far. This pit position, like you said, it's crucial, but Haley says no. In fact, makes a follow-up, but oh my goodness, what a flick!
Jeez.
That's disgusting. I mean, it was so fast, my eyes couldn't even follow it.
My God. That is just clinical. LVC taking the side scoreline right now happily. That is so massive right there. Potential to come back, even despite Umar's best efforts with some clutches. This duo of Ofar and Bat Speed, especially Bat Speed with a little bit of a late resurgence here, have been clinical in terms of coming back into things here. They've been so influential in holding down a nice little lead. Rather, along with that deficit, to be more accurate. This aggression through the smoke he goes, not scared at all. That's another big opener right there from Kaiser. He looks to continue his endeavors and puts the A-bomb site. There's no one in pit, so they don't have that pit site crossfire, and they're all collapsing, but there's so many numbers, there's so many T-sides to deal with. They can't find too much success. Baggles and Big T spamming through the smoke. Big T just gets cleared. Tracers followed here. And off on the retake, moving quickly, but gets spotted out. There's no saves to be had. And maybe you would have liked to bring that up into the next round, considering.
I mean, no doubt. Look at the money. I mean, LEC is broke. I mean, they gotta probably go for the buy here, or either that or let 15 come across the bow. And yeah, the buy is, well, sort of in. I'm not a fan. Not a fan in the slightest of this. And Umar, I mean, maybe missing an opportunity there to get an opening frag as well. But it's such an uneven purchase here for LVC.
And if you consider who's doing the biggest damage, Bat Speed and Ofar, the ones lacking the most in the firepower. You know, no armor to back this up. So while maybe they can stand tall in this next round, they might not be able to offer up as much as they would have hoped. They are walking into this interesting stack here. This is going to be dicey. No flashbang. Okay, but jiggling out. There's the first kill. Bat Speed doesn't need armor. He still is able to sideline. Dicey, but a trade delivered right back.
Baggles, what the hell are you doing, mate? You just peeked mid with the Mag 7.
No, he did not. Really?
Yes,
oh my God, he did.
I just don't understand what the plan there was, but anyway, moving along. Still a 4v4. Obviously big advantage still to Penn State, but oh my gosh, not again. Not again! It's happening, Cole! What the hell was that? All 3 frags are Big T on the B site. Oh, and it is, guess what? The Negev back in action.
I'm speechless. You've fallen to it so many times, and once again, they do the same. That is just heartbreaking for Penn State University. Now we got ourselves into a good vibe for LVZ. They're rocking so much firepower. Off of the hands of Bat Speed. It could be laughing all the way to the bank here. It's a forced buy now on the opposing side. They do have a lot of PKs here in the mix. And already, you know, they're trying to avoid the Negevs. They hold in towards the A-bomb site instead. The rotates are arriving onto the scene. In fact, everyone is joining up forces. Ofar in the pit goes down with a quick trade. And maybe Penn State, they have a little bit left in the tank as they find 15.
Well, LVC, they've needed 2 hero rounds, basically 2 eco round wins. I mean, I could, you know, technically the Negev, it's a half buy, but I don't care. 2 eco round wins with the Negevs. It's what they needed to get to this point. And now they need 1 more. So there's no Negevs here.
Oh no.
Have they thrown away the win condition? Or is this going to be overtime?
I think they have, to be honest with you. The Negevs have been surprisingly, I guess unsurprisingly considering the history, so influential. And Umar catches Baggles as he sticks around on the half wall trying to find the 1 deeg. A big 4v5 alleviates a lot of the pressure.
Yeah, that's a second very interesting decision from Baggles. 2 rounds in a row. So, not ideal. There's the flashbang, and I like the spot, but it is not good to find anything at all. CZ on the entry. Now Thankron has to pull up something, but he's only good for one. Go for it. Playing with the Deagle. Has a frag, looking for another one, but he can't do it. All towards Big T now. 1v2. Got a 5-7. He's got body armor, but no head armor.
He's making no secret about this and holding down that line. 16-14. They do close it out narrowly. Yes, it was close, but Penn State University plucking the map pick of LVC right off from underneath them, despite some incredible ecos they were able to recover. And I think at the end of the day, there were some small mistakes given that Penn State University were able to capitalize. But even with the win conditions, even with that supporting staff of OFAR helping out bat speed, it wasn't quite enough, surprisingly, for LVC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to Baggles. Listen, love you, bud, but just to talk about that one play, I think that play kind of talks about those small mistakes where Baggles swings through mid with a mag 7. Like it's just not thinking about the play before making it, just getting a little bit caught up in the moment. Again, not to call out individuals, it happens to everyone, but those types of things is kind of what we saw consistently for LVC. I saw a couple of moments from OFAR where he just got a little bit too aggressive despite how good a game he played. I think back to a couple of rounds on the CT side where he was playing low, playing around that close right box on the A site, and then would push forward instead of waiting for the players to push into him. So those types of small little things can really turn the tide. And at a 16-14 scoreline where you win 2 eco rounds, I think that for me, that really solidifies that Penn State probably have this in 2.
I have to agree with you, especially heading into the map pick here of Penn State University. They had a lot of their players stepping up to the plate. It wasn't even an Umar show whatsoever. It was a full team effort. We saw phenomenal Haley showed phenomenal prowess there in the mix as well, with multi-kill after multi-kill on the CT side, and same case for Nell as well. So while Umar did win some massively influential rounds, that 1v4 to say the least was a big way to solidify Penn State back in favor of that match. Overall, everyone was stepping up to the plate, and I think that's kind of what we built up in the beginning stages of this matchup. for the Glock. And, you know, I will say overall, Bagels, he did kind of make those mistakes in the late stages of Inferno. Makes up for it a little bit in this opening pistol round by finding 2 brilliant 2Ks running through the smoke. What can he say? He's an aggressive player. Diving through that one. Look at this aggression coming through the B ramp side of things. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Bagels is gone down. That's the AUG dropped early as well. And another kill on the ramp. They're even grabbing that AUG. They're moving quickly. Good news is they have a fast flank here, but that's even being watched as a player outside this double door. And waiting for it, Umar just takes him down. Big T left last man standing, and the force buy might just pan out for them.
I mean, how many times do you got a guy there where Umar is playing? It's just such a rarity. You don't expect it. And so that MP9 is going to be pretty deadly against these low HP players, but what a nice crossfire setup. Immense, Haley, both in position, and it is an instant fight back. And considering how CT-sided this map is, Cole, I think that is such a huge victory.
Yeah, you brought it up here, but that gives them so much of that alleviated stress of, you know, losing a T-pistol. It is kind of a rough way to start out on Ancient. You know, you think to yourself, you could have gotten 3 rounds off that, and you don't get many T-side rounds often. I mean, it does depend on the teams, of course, and their comfortability on this map, but it can be stretched few and far between. So LVC giving that one up has to hurt.
There's Immense in middle.
Ooh,
Doing some spam too.
it's been heard.
Yeah, Umar knows. He's very well aware. Bat speed has paid heavy prices for that. Now, it's really just a matter of grouping up, hitting a site, playing together. And LVC, they love 1 or 2 already. Dankron is just not having a good day. That's ridiculous. It's just, you know, for the record, not supposed to be a very accurate weapon while you're jumping, but hey, it's fine. Headshots.
That's not a Mac 10. That's an AUG. Are you kidding me right now with that? All right.
Immense didn't get
You're
your
right.
memo.
Jeez, yeah, no kidding. And that's just the best way to put it. Poor Dankaron, you know, no other way about it. They are aggressing down middle, right back into this jumping AUG. This time he's standing still and standing tall as he just farms up all those Bagels through the flames. He's so aggressive. He'll be taken down here pretty easily. In Penn State University, they do get that, you know, 0-3-1, even despite losing the pistol.
I'm starting to think that Bagels doesn't have any other key bound other than his W key.
I know.
It's what it feels
And
like.
I respect it because that is exactly how I am. You just go,
Here's a pro
keep
tip.
that W key pressed.
Here's a pro tip. If you turn your character around to the other direction, then you can go backwards even if your W key is the only one bound. Speaking of pressing W, big T, W key in towards the A main prong area there and finds an early frag. It is going to be answered back, but speaking of trades, that's beat as the back of Dankron.
Keeping things in the man advantage ways for LVC, at least for now, to the 3v4. And, I mean, if you take into consideration, you know, W key, Bagels is in the back lines here, covering out all of the B ramp. So that's kind of cut off at the moment and really leaves them only one option, the A site. That's good news. If they do want to head into that A-bomb site, they're going to be working with a whole lot here. But look at this. Bagels has now been spotted out. And he's kind of contained in this position. They could just kind of fall back and hunt him down.
I was actually going to say, though, I think that's actually a good thing. The reason I say that is because now the threat is there. As I say that, the bat speed has swung Big T, thankfully, there eventually for the trade on Helicat. And so now the push in towards A is successful. 2 players alive, and it's been fought back to a 2v2.
Can't believe they fully vacated the A bomb site. At least you do have a fast flank component. This has been heard. Bagels making noise into the 2v2. Adjustments hit now far. Left up against P-Mince's AUG here, ready to go, ready to fire away. And on half HP of OFAR, he really has to do some damage. There's no kit, so he needs to find this kill soon as that bomb is already about half ticked. He's tapping it. He's taking the air at the moment, and P-Mince is going to solidify a 4th round, converting that 3v4 and just fighting that short presence. Bagels, you know, he calls that rotate over, but for some reason, everyone on LVC gives up A, and Penn State University, they take that time to walk in.
Yeah, what's so very difficult to understand about that rotation as well is that, like you pointed out, Backles had all of the information. There's just no way to go be there, and then they go for the rotate anyway. So we see a 1-for-2 trade here. Flashbangs are good from Umar to allow for P-Ments to get some of that. Finally, that AUG going away. It's upgraded to an AWP. Donut already in position here. Haley not looking the right direction, but Big T is demolished with ease. Baggles on the site with the AWP is only good for one on that one as well. And LVC, this is a nightmare beginning here for his TC side.
5 rounds. I mean, that's so many that you've already got in your pocket. It is not easy to come back. You know, even when we talk about round counts and milestones that you want to hit on your T side, it's 4. You know,
right.
that you're really aiming for. Anything else is kind of gravy. On top of that, right now, I mean, I think that KD is standing at like 17-2 maybe for P-Mints, maybe even 17-1 right now.
Holy cow.
Definitely showing up here. We thought it was a Numar show. P-Mints is like, no, I got this. The B-Rush coming on board. That's a great HE. Actually goes a little bit short. And another entry from P-Mints. He continues to deliver, making his KD just skyrocket. As the trades do go back and forth, it's site contained from the T's, though.
Yeah, but P-Mints kept himself alive. No plant just yet. Nice shot. I mean, bat speed. He's so good, so fast with that off. And now with the smoke gone, Ankron swings. It's interesting. HE, is it going to land? No, I don't think it does anything. Smalley should be a little bit better, and it is. Still, no plant. And Ankron coming to help out his teammate bat speed and denying everything. Big T on the flank. Good for the final frag. So LVC getting away with one there. Penn State, I mean, they had everything looking good for them. They had a double kill on the entry. They only lost a singular player as they moved forward, but it was just that one denial of the plant that made life difficult for them.
Oftentimes the case on HN as well, getting that plant denied for you. But on top of that, a good flank thrown in from LVC really alleviates a lot of that stress of a potential plant just by staying alive as well in that flank. It did so even more. Flashbang in towards early cave control at the moment. It's conceded already. So, I mean, I think the real issue right now for LVC's CT side, and I think one of the cases that makes this map so CT-sided, is that it's very easy for CTs to take map control, but right now they just don't have much of it.
Yeah, I mean, look how passive Batspeed is being here with his mid presence. I mean, all the way back in Red Room. Now, granted, that is a great op angle, and you can see that it works out beautifully, and oh, Big T.
Is that jumping?
Yeah.
Did he ever land?
I don't think he did. I mean, maybe he was just crouched. Maybe we're wrong, but it looked like it was jumping. Now it's just a 2 versus 4. As P-Ments has tried to continue to find shots and at least found one so far. On the backside, traded by P-Ments. P-Ments, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Kills.
This guy is on fire. I mean, this is round 8, Cole. Round 8, and he has 20 kills.
I've never seen a scoreline like that in my life.
I mean, maybe simple.
2 in 8 rounds?
Simple, I guess.
Yeah.
In pugs.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, and even that, like, yeah, it's only in pugs. I don't even know if he does that in games, because, you know, if you talk about, like, a half, maybe, like, 20 kills is good.
Right.
But right now, 20 and 3 within 8 rounds is something I've never seen.
20 is good on a half. Man, 15 is good on a half.
Right.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, that's pretty consistent if you're getting 15 kills. That's a kill around, right? So, oh, man. Outrageous stuff here. Penn State. And they're at that 5 mark, right? You know, you said 4. That's great. Anything more is gravy. Well, they're starting the gravy train going.
Kidding. Look at this little angle Pickles is trying to work off of. On top of the stairs, sliding down. That is absurd there with the AWP, but again, he likes his aggression. As now, they do have a little bit of a triangulated setup here. Pickles is all the way down the ramp, able to collect himself a kill.
Oh, man.
It's just so bold. It's so bold, but it works out, and it's a big 4v5 that LVC desperately want to try and get the CT side rolling.
When are they going to start just guessing that that's going to come? Surely that's got to become a consistent look at one point or another.
Mm-hmm.
Big T here in the donut. Nice timing. He's got help from Dacron. Things are falling apart slowly and surely. Umar, only one left here with Kize. Pushes his way out on towards A, but with both of them finding frags, Kize with a double. What was just a 2v5 was now into a 2v2.
Yeesh. And I mean, it's a double op to try and hold on to this. And the issue with that is that there's 2 very low HP bars. It's not the ideal weaponry. And now spotting him out, Yeezy's
Well, he knows.
just drawing attention, keeping it on this A bomb site. And in the meantime, Umar's going to go play up towards B. Another kill, and that's what I'm talking about. Missed op shot. It just is an instant death. Numbers already been punched in, and Bat Speed not even making his rotation in just yet. This 2v5, it just gets more and more likely to get converted as time's being bought here. Eventually found out Bat Speed, but does he even want to go for this is the question.
Surely not. Umar.
Can he save? He's moving out towards Donut, and he's got this line covered. Oh.
Oh man, Umar is lucky. The Bat Speed didn't go for the site.
Mm-hmm.
If he was able to get towards the side, I mean, there's no way to get back in time. That was incredibly aggressive from Umar, but it was working out well. And I mean, that round right there is part of the reason that I'm struggling to see a way back in here for LVC, even just 10 rounds in, is that not only did they lose out on their map pick, but we're already sitting at a six round T side.
Right. It's quite the deficit to come back from here. Nice smoke, though. Big T keeping his really foot on the gas pedal at the moment. Good signs.
How do LVC keep losing these rounds? They've gotten the opening pick like so many times.
Make it a double. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of when you get into these positions, you've seen Umar be able to put up good numbers, and same case for Easy. Now he's taken down here. Umar is left still standing, reveals his position. There's now Nell to join him in this clutch. Bagels for the Flames again. Teammate's gone down. No trade available just yet. Umar goes for seconds. Now Bagels holding down this angle. He's going to get flashed off the line. He's looking to run away. He gets caught in transition, and that's be open. This is exactly how Umar has been an X factor here, but now needs to find a whole lot more. He's been taken down pretty low and unable to make it out of cave. Cutting off rotations, though. Nell drops one low, and here's one right on the corner. Dankron, he reveals his position by making noise, and they move right back in towards A. They're just finding every little gap, and they're exploiting it perfectly.
2v5 last round, 3v5 this round. How has this been allowed to occur? Umar, big clutch plays from him. That's the key, of course, but Nell's flank as well just applied the pressure to allow for Umar to rotate. And LVC once again lose a round that they should have won easily.
Needed that one in the lock and key right there. Now the issue here with this is that glass cannon autos.
All right.
I love it. I love this. It's bold. It's ambitious. He goes for the headshot angle. So, I mean, as long as he doesn't catch any HEs, right? He's okay.
Right.
But I think that, as we so often say when we see investments like this, it shows some desperation here. And they have to be desperate. 3-7, you've already nearly given them a winning half. If you drop this force by, it's definitely in desperation territory.
Well, I mean, talking desperation, you're OFAR, you have a CZ75 and you're swinging mid. I mean, again, desperation. That's the only thing that makes that make any sort of sense.
Right.
Especially as a solo play. That's a nice flash. Very nice. Covering both close angles. Granted, no one's actually there, but frags go the way of Penn State regardless. And it's just the who's who. P-Mints, Umar, Kize. Couple of frags apiece. Elite looking for one more. Might find a bit of a team ace here. Not to be, but P-Mints 22 and 2, I think is what I just saw.
22 and 5.
And 5. 2 assists.
Still. Yeah, 2 assists. I mean, it's disgusting. It has slowed down as of recent, but, you know, where he slowed down, Umar has stepped up to the plate with a couple of big clutches, and right there, just kind of an eco bash. Now, off that auto sniper, They are limited in their investment. The flashbang comes a little too late, and there comes 2 kills.
Oh man,
Demons
Big
eventually
T.
quieted. Yeah.
He had the he had the push, and it just doesn't work. Oh, it's just so frustrating.
At speed.
I think he also had a P90 this round, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes, he did. I mean, in MP9 for Baggles, they tried the CT aggression. It just doesn't work. The flashbang was not quite there in time, and maybe they weren't expecting that aggressive movement. But I mean, either way,
What? I don't know
just
how.
don't know.
I mean, Penn State's done that every round, pretty much.
Right. It's just it's becoming just a pure showcase of one team that knows what they're doing on Ancient, and I think another that is kind of getting their feet wet with this map. And even like you said, that CZ aggression that we just saw the last round or 2 rounds prior, it does kind of show that maybe there isn't the most comfort. And then when you look over at the Pennsylvania State side of things, it's very comfortable. It's very clinical. They have good utility usage that they're throwing out in the early rounds. While Bat Speed will collect a kill, he won't collect this high AWP, but actually no. Kize didn't keep performing.
I don't know why. It seemed like the timing would have been good, but ultimately Kize taken out. Only Haley to survive, but you need 12K for Nell there at the beginning of the round. There's plenty of cash to go, so ultimately isn't gonna matter that much. And at 9-3, I mean, Penn State could lose every round the rest of this half and still be in a beautiful position.
100%. He doesn't get any more than this on the T side here. It's just going to continue. Quick trades up the B ramp, and there just wasn't enough pressure to hold things off. A triple setup towards the A bomb site. They're already mollied off. They're already having control of the back lanes. This is likely going to be double digits on the board on the T side here. So they look to maybe find some ground. Bat Speed able to work off a slight gap. And they're playing inside the smoke here, playing with a little bit of fire. So there's potential to close things down. If you can pull off a retake, that'd be massive here.
Gonna need it. It's a 3v3. This smoke spray via Umar, and he's got it. Big T going down. Kize on the timing around the backside. Only one more left to find. That's Dankron. And oh, Dankron with the turn.
Jeez.
That was nasty, but it is irrelevant as he goes down immediately thereafter. Lebanon Valley College are getting shellacked here on Ancient.
Yeah, this was kind of the lock-in, I think, for Penn State University. Like I had said before, Umar's going to offer up a lot of valuable experience on this map, and on top of that, you have a lot of players that have, hovered around main experience that do have quite a bit of experience. And Piements in the early stages have been monumental. He won them 5 rounds essentially in a row after Umar started to clutch as well. But everything going right here, and it should continue up against a limited buy. They crest all the way in spawn, and it's just swiped away with no troubles.
Oh man, Piements is pulled the B90 and says, Big T, let me show you how it's done, mate. The Dankron, a couple of kills of his own before things get turned back the other way. 11-3. I mean, I will say, I casted a match the other day on Ancient, and it was 2 10-5 halves. So, it wasn't 2 full 10-5 halves, but it was 10-5 half on the T sides, and then it was very close. So, it is possible to make comebacks on this map, but it is definitely difficult.
Yes, 100%. And I think they missed their door smoke here as well. Yeah. Not fun. I saw them try and throw it from spawn. Oftentimes it is thrown from spawn, and that kind of shows that you're going to go for that B ramp aggression. They just missed it. I think it landed at the top of the B ramp, and they're already in spawn. This one could be swept away here, but a fast flank for Bagos could make things interesting. He's pretty quick. For one, but the trigger discipline from Kize only good for a kill before getting traded. And low HP bars as well onto Umar. A simple defuse inside of the smoke. There is no kit though. That's the problem. 10-second defuses aren't easy. Now Umar able to spray them down through the smoke. Needs another clutch. And Tinkron is the same case. And no kit. He's gonna have to rely on the flashbang. That smoke has to be fading away soon. Umar can't find it, but finally does hear the noise. 3-12 scoreline on the C side of Ancient. I think that LVC's days are numbered here in the series.
No doubt. Piements 26-9 on the half as well.
Oh my God.
I mean, again, that's pretty darn good for like a whole game.
Yeah, right.
You know, I
And he
mean,
had that in like 8 rounds. He was on 20 kills.
yeah, like you said, he slowed down there in the back half of that thing, but again, it's sort of irrelevant. He steps back, Umar steps up, and it's all problems for LVC. Here's the classic B rush. Good setup here on the crossfire. Nell going for it. Shots across the bow, and well, doesn't go down for quite a while, but ultimately the trades are back and forth, and you know, LVC come out on the bad side of that. It seemed like so long that LVC had to take those shots, but ultimately they just couldn't hit him. And now he's left all alone, 1-on-3, and he's found the first of Dankron, sort of trying to pre-fire all the different angles that are possible. Picks up a Glock. I'm gonna go for a push. 2 players to continue with in there, and at speed, he's gonna collect it. So LVC, they've made it work, but just barely.
Yeah, able to hold on to that pistol round, even despite that crossfire. And like you said, Nell was alive for quite some time. I think what happened there is what the doctors call a whiffing. And not able to find probably the kills he was hoping for. Nonetheless.
Is that an official diagnosis?
It's the medical term.
Whiffing sentence.
He did not whiff, though. At least good damage, but this is just a USP eco, so it should be a little bit of a bashed issue. But there's so much people here hovering around on the B-bomb site at the moment.
Things, not ideal, but okay. LVC fighting things back here, making it a little bit more reasonable. 8 health, now to 0. For Nell, and that USP round going how it really should have. It just took a little bit to get there.
Right. A couple of kills. It started out really interesting. It could have been anyone's round, but very quickly they find their strays, and then once they do, it's all recovered. Nice and easy. They do invest. They've actually, with that USP eco, they're going for an investment in this one. And through the flames, Baggles goes once again with the Krieg. He gets caught. Not taken down, though. He's staying alive. Quite another day, but he's being pressed upon here. He has to call in for some support, and that smoke goes a little deep.
Just a wee tad. Oh, man, what an adjustment there from Umar. At MP9 at range, you thought it was at a disadvantage. Little did you know, Umar's hands are simply too good. He makes it work. Haley from the back already has a double kill. It's all towards Big T 2000. And I don't think he's going to be fighting too much else.
I have to agree with you. On the wrong side of the map. And without the bomb. Now spotted out from Umar. Closes things out. 1 out. A fight with an MP9 across mid. Against 2 AKs. And that right there. Kind of a testament to what this game has been. LVC struggling. And Umar, alongside P-Mints, just asserting some dominance on map number 2 here. As it is going to be a force buy. You can see Big T and that speed. Not necessarily the Negev that they so like, but we'll see if they can still do damage. That's a great HE, though.
Certainly is.
Another 1 and a third. Oh, no.
Oh, that's a bit of an airstrike is what I like to call that thing. Nell falls for it, and 3 other players are at half HP. And when you're playing from behind already in both a literal sense in the score line and also losing out an initial player and not having the weapons, it's sort of kind of one thing stacking on another, isn't it?
Yeah. The struggles compound here as they look to make their way in towards B. A little crossfire of sorts set up. There's one more on the front of Nell. Kind of a no man's land and quickly traded for bat speed, but now taken down. Great flash being set up. Coming through from Nell. And bomb plant will come through. Baggles able to get that at the very least. You know, a small silver lining for what it is. Plenty of gray clouds. And it will continue.
Yeah, I mean, the chances for LVC looking very much like the weather here on Ancient, I will say. Penn State number 14 is on the board, and well, with the plant, I thought maybe there would be a little bit more to work with, in all honesty, but it's a very bargain bin purchase. UMP, MAC-10, Deagle, and 2 Galils. Doesn't get much worse than that, and Umar is already pushed forward. He's good for a double kill, but it's, yeah, things just not working out here. Big T and Bad Speed last alive.
Yeah, they're even getting closed in upon it. Everyone on the CT side is here, but nice frag right there from Big T. A little pre-fire onto Nell. Is a flank in play there. And that could be a real issue at the moment if it's not expected. Big T doesn't seem fully aware. Turns his attention, but it is so fast, crazy. Able to find one and a double. Bat Speed will fall. And there you go, another one collected. Going through.
Yeah, that's such a nice fast flank too, as well from Kizé. And it's, like you said, somewhat anticipated, but there's no way they're expecting to be pushed all the way that far forward. And like LVC, whenever Umar gets aggressive like that, when he finds a double kill, right, that just creates a situation where LVC have to play from behind from the very beginning of things, and it makes it so very difficult. So finally, some decent weapons. 1-for-1 trade there in mid.
I know that Ofar's around this gap. They got spammed, so it seemed like they were wide aware. And Umar, he looks to drive the nail home right there, and he will close things out. 21 kills to him. I mean, the duo right there, I think on Ancient probably ended at nearly 60. It was crazy what they were able to grab. But either way, you know, a great second map there from Penn State University. And I think for both of us, LVC, they definitely needed an Inferno to take us into a third map. I think that we kind of thought this could be a 3-map series in total. But as Inferno went narrowly in the way of Penn State University, they head into their map pick, and they show why exactly they picked it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of allude back to what I said in the post map for map number 1, and that was the fact that when LVC win two crucial rounds like they did with half buys, those Negevs, and they still aren't able to pick up that first map that of their pick, by the way, Inferno, and they look as if they are struggling when it comes to the utility game, are not quite on the same level. That really told me the story that well, when we get to a map that is, number 1, not nearly as easy when it comes to the utility, and number 2, a lot more niche, that they were going to struggle. And I think that really showed when we got into Ancient, especially. I was impressed with what Penn State were showing us on that map.
I think you bring up excellent points. There was a lot of win conditions getting checked off for Inferno, and it was still a loss. That kind of shows a lot as the gap that we kind of were talking about and the potential, supporting staff. We didn't realize, necessarily how good Penn State University was heading into this. And I think I even kind of underrated them, considering there's a lot of names, besides Umar. I was focused on him, and I thought that he had a lot of impact in terms of the clutch factor and in terms of how he was able to find openings with the AWP. But you could see that there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. And even, in those 2vx situations when Umar's playing off of his teammates, they seem to play off each other really well. And it was just an absolute blast to watch.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I will, to give credit back over towards LVC in a couple different aspects, right? I think we got to talk Ofar. I think, I mentioned in map number 1 that he really kind of showed up as that second player to be a potential secondary star to help Bad Speed out. But Bad Speed is an individual a little bit on the inconsistent side as well. And I think that's not so much speaking to Bad Speed's skill, more so to the firepower on the other side. But whenever you are kind of that individual player who has to show up for your team, and that's what Bat Speed is, whenever there's an individual on the other side that's able to kind of put your contributions and make them nominal, then you're in trouble and your team's in trouble. And I think we saw that from Umar. We saw that it was definitely an issue when Kizé got rolling.
Right.
And then, like I said, before we even got onto the stream here, all it takes is those two, Kizé and Umar, popping off or having a good game, and one other person showing up. This time it was P-Mans.
Right. Yeah, and he sure did have a good game as well. So, and like you said, with Bat Speed kind of being that star player, you saw a little bit of struggles. Again, like you said, Kizé was picking him off quite a bit. I mean, the opening kills I think he got like 2 or 3 on him in a row over on Inferno, and that, as a star player, it can't be happening. You got to make sure that you're staying alive, maybe having more impact in the late round. And actually, even when those picks did come through, LVC put up a pretty decent CT side. I think Ofar stepped up to the plate on Inferno where it was left off. But overall, it definitely was a struggle there to close things out. And Ancient was just, I mean, there wasn't much to say about it other than, a very bashing of the T side success that you almost never see.
Well, I mean, to go into it just a little bit though, I pointed out, and you pointed out, and well, we couldn't stop talking about it. The fact that LVC were getting opening picks, they were getting multiple opening picks, and then still losing rounds, is just not something that you need to be seeing.
Right.
It does show a lack of discipline, shows a lack of being able to play trades effectively, because if you think back to like the greatest teams ever, right? It's teams that can trade efficiently and are good at that. You think like old school Fnatic, think back to like LG and those types of teams, right? Like that's the types of teams that were so good at when they found an advantage, they were always going to win the round. If you can't do that, which is the basics, then you're going to struggle overall. And I think that's part of the reason that we saw LVC struggling as we move forward.
And I mean, on top of that, those first like 6 or 7 rounds, Peanuts was finding those 20 kills. And so, like, at one point, his teammates were hovering around 3 or 4 kills. He had 20. And that right there, when you solidify like a 1-5 lead on Ancient and you're still finding success further down the line, it becomes an impossibility to try and get not only mentally back into it. You click tab and you see that Peanuts is just tearing through you every single round. But right after that, Umar finds, I think it was a back-to-back like 2v5 and then like a 3v5 nearly back-to-back. That's where you just almost start to mentally check out. And I think that was kind of a struggle there for LVC, judging from the fact that we did see a lot of issues in the mid rounds there when it came to the clutch factor and even getting caught in rotations as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely the case. But I want to mention that LLS is making an impact in the cancer community, which includes leukemia survivor Tobin. When Tobin was 3.5, his nagging arm and leg pain and regular fevers were not chalked up as blood cancer symptoms. It wasn't until his 4-year-old checkup that Tobin's doctor referred the family to a specialist. Tobin and his family would soon walk into a cancer center and have everything in their lives change. Many tests and days later, it was confirmed Tobin had leukemia and began their new reality. New medications, new side effects, new schedules, in and out of hospitals and clinics, rearranging the family home and work schedules. Every day was a marathon. For Tobin, his parents, and 2 brothers, this was an intense and scary time. But having LLS in their corner to help their family connect with the blood cancer community and witness survival stories helped tremendously. They stayed focused and present and fought the war and won. Tobin crossed the 2-year cancer-free mark in December. He's now 9 years old. He loves to game, play Minecraft, Battlefront, Fortnite. Those are just some of his favorites. And he aspires to be a YouTuber when he grows up. Alongside hero Tobin, we want to recognize the LLS hero of the game, who represents the player that made the biggest impact in the match played, whether it was a clutch play, a sacrifice, or provided strong leadership when it matters most. Today's LLS hero of the game is none other than Umar. So we take a look at some of those big moments from this game.
Absolutely excited to see this. I mean, what a great game that he had there. Overall, even on Inferno, showing his impact in this clutch right here, it was just absolutely clinical. And I mean, honestly, this is what Umar actually thrives in, even at the top level, even at Premier. He is so good in the clutch, and showing up in a big way overall throughout the series is an exciting thing to see from him. And again, it was kind of that win condition that we talked about. If Inferno doesn't go their way, if Umar doesn't win that 1v4 like he did. And so, fantastic job from him overall.
Yeah, I mean, that clutch there, that 1v4, that it was the statement play, I think, of the game. If there was, if we were picking like a play of the game or whatever, that's got to be it. I mean, even though we couldn't, I mean, the 2v5, 2v4, and then consequently 3v5 that came right after that as well on
Yeah.
Ancient. It's just take too long. We couldn't even show you, but those long and drawn out plays as well is something that I think he really shone in. And it was just that was the difference maker
Hmm.
when it came down to the wire. If it wasn't for the fact that all the other things that we were talking about. But with that being said, Cole, we are going to be headed to a break here. Unfortunately, we could not get an interview, but we will be looking at UC Riverside and California Polytechnic State University on the flip side. So we'll see you in a little bit. and welcome back. We have another fantastic matchup for you folks. Vincent alongside of Cole once again, and it's going to be some familiar faces alongside some brand new ones here. UC Riverside, the Highlanders, finishing themselves off very high in the standings last time out, and they're going up against the new bloods from California Polytechnic State University, and this should be interesting as I do think we have the names flip flopped here for the sides, but either way, Cole, talk to me.
Yeah, absolutely exciting to get more of the Highlanders, UC Riverside. We've seen them plenty of times. I was shocked as well. I was looking at Cal Poly Slow, and I was like, man, this roster is about to be incredibly sick, but it is actually reversed. And we all have seen Dante Suds, Redux, Josu, but there is a good chance that we could see Cal Poly Slow try to start things off right. It's going to be difficult though. You're rocking against the fourth place team here over in Highlanders, and they put up a great season. They're bringing up a lot of the last players from the fall season or the previous, and it's not going to be easy at all.
Yeah, the only one that I don't recognize is Onance. Or Ounce. I don't even know how that's meant to be said, but regardless, that's the only player that I don't recognize, and I think that's the only difference from last season to this, or last semester to this semester. I think they had Bird, though that could be the same player and just a different name. We'll have to see. But yeah, the big duo to talk about obviously going to be Dante Josu. I think we got it. If we're talking about this team, it's that duo. They play together in ESCA main for a team called Hole Smokers, and they're very, very solid against this Cal Poly side. Well, if we're being really honest, there's just not any big standout individuals. Everybody kind of, having a bit of the same sort of overall ranking, and not really having anything to kind of look at to see where they could be sitting for a comparison.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough to get a read there. A little bit of an unknown quantity, and the stuff that we do get out of them is that it's inexperience, and on top of that, we do have to see their record with that as well. Starting things off 0-2. They did take a map in one of their previous matches, so they do have some map victories. I'm sure that lends itself to some map success. A couple of close games in the mix there as well. So it's not the end of the world here for Cal Poly Slow. It's just you couple that with the fact that UC Riverside is such a lockdown team, such a lethal team as well. It makes things very tricky, and this matchup is going to be the same.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the other bad news for Cal Poly here is that they are not in an easy division, right? I mean, they got the Tritons of UC San Diego. They also have these Highlanders. They have the Arizona Wildcats. Those guys, playoff team from last semester as well. So things aren't easy on their side of things. But well, let's take a look at the map pool, right? That could be a big differentiating factor that we maybe weren't expecting. Unfortunately, we are seeing Ancient and Vertigo taken out early. Interesting ban there by the Highlanders. I think that's just them thinking that they don't want to play Vertigo into a team that they just don't know a whole lot about. And then we get into to more of those collegiate classic maps, and it's teams that, well, we don't think have a whole lot of experience that tend to go here. And we saw that with LVC on Inferno. We're seeing that here with SLO on Mirage.
Right. Yeah, and we do get kind of the comfort picks that everyone's going to know how to play. That's a good sign, at least for Cal Poly Slow. You can see them try and do some damage on Mirage, maybe utilize some firepower, do some 5-man executes, that everyone knows quite well. And that can make up for a little bit of the experience gap that is had from UC Riverside. And so I think Mirage probably the best case for sure. But you add into the mix there UC Riverside having so much firepower, and then that could be an issue there later down the line. Nuke is going to be a great pickup, though, for the Highlander side of things. A very good map for them. And on top of that, like I had said, if you show any discomfort on Nuke, it's going to be exploited here quite nicely.
Absolutely. Especially that T side is very, very difficult whenever you're talking about Nuke and trying to play if you're not particularly comfortable. So overpass is where we'll be headed if needed, but got to keep it real with you, Cole. I don't think we're going to be needing overpass.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you there on that one for sure. Overpass is going to be definitely a dream. I mean, if it did go that way, Cal Poly Slow would be very happy with himself. So it'd be a great victory. And again, even doing some damage in this matchup, and oftentimes in matches like this, we kind of look to see if there's any chance to learn stuff as well. When you are up against an experienced collegiate team versus maybe a newer one, it's important that you're able to learn off of these experiences as well. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to see. I'm hoping to see, Cal Poly Slow maybe get some mid-round adaptations in, try and adjust to what UC Riverside's throwing at them. But overall, it is going to be a challenge for them to try and pull this one off. I think there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that there is plenty of opportunity for that learning to go down. But yeah, UC Riverside, they played a phenomenal game in the playoffs last semester against was Drexel, if I'm not mistaken. And Ryerson got ahead of them, but it definitely made for some very good Counter Strike, and a team like this Highlanders roster, it's just going to be difficult for them,
Mhm.
for me to see a world in which they don't come away with the W here. Like I said, main experience for Trusu and Dante. Redux and Suds, they don't really have that same sort of experience, but they are relatively high level players. If you look at like the average, especially comparing to Cal Poly. So,
Mhm.
with that being said, don't have the game quite ready just yet. So we're gonna head to a short break, and hopefully we'll be back in the game as soon as we come back. Yeah. Alrighty. We have returned, and, well, warm-up is just about to get ended here. As we get into Mirage, which will be the first map. Cole, can you talk to me about a couple of the keys that we want to look for on a map like Mirage?
I just mainly want to see, set up for mid control on a map like this. I think that's very key, and it's something that if you are a little bit of an inexperienced team, it's something that's going to be necessary, because if you don't have that sort of unified effort in taking that ground and you just try and take those 1v1 duels, well, it's not necessarily even 1v1, it's more like 1v3. That's why it's required that you try and utilize your full team to take this, and that's what I want to see if Cal Poly Slow are going to be fighting for that control. I think that's going to be UC Riverside, probably starting out on the CT side if I had to guess at the end of the day. We do have Bird in the roster though, as you can see.
Yeah, I had an inkling that it was the same player, just a different name. Bird, by the way, is an advanced player. So it's one of the other players that I didn't mention because I just wasn't sure if it was going to be Bird or not. But is absolutely another one to watch, other than Josu and Dante, who we hyped up during the pregame. So glad we had a moment to clarify that and everything. I think we'll be seeing maybe a fake knife round, or maybe that's already happened. Not 100%, but timer's at 0, so
Seems like it's we got the right sides at least, as you can see. We got Riverside over on the CT side. I have to imagine they choose into that. So, we get to see Cal Poly Slow on the T side, and like I said, I said this a little bit in the pregame. We're gonna need to see some unified efforts on the execution as well. If you're trying to take on the firepower that UC Riverside has and the experience, then you're gonna need all 5 players against maybe like 2 on site defenses, and that's what you're capable of. You can really set the pace on the T side. So maybe we can see a little bit of that here from Cal Poly Slow.
Yes, indeed. We're underway. And Dante, I think, got a little bit of information there. I don't know if he's actually spotted that player, but nonetheless, it's looking to me we're going to see Suds be the key here. Finding those frags. All tappity away. Double kill there. Bird on the A side of things, and clotheslines a man, takes another's head. It's a triple kill for Bird and 2 for Suds.
Full house between the two, and a flawless pistol round on the CT side of UC Riverside. See if that can continue here as they go for a Glock eco. Potentially just all Glocks here, as no bomb plant. Wise decision making from Cal Poly Slow. We'll see what they have in store for us. Old default going on.
Glocks with a W, by the way. That's how you say it. It's Glock round.
Glocks.
That's right. Just got to make sure that everybody's aware.
Of course.
Nice aggression here for Bird. And looking for the second. Suds is a little disappointed that he couldn't find more, but ultimately, okay. I thought that was going to be it, but it got a little bit dicey there for a moment, but everybody survives.
A little labor with the MP9 spray. Can hardly blame him. That MP9 is all over the place from that distance. Some people have it mastered, such as Umar.
True.
Not everybody.
He had that double spray Umar had
so
last
crazy.
map. I mean, at the same range that we just saw. Jeez. I don't know how that happens, but
That was up against AKs.
right. I guess that's those DM hours, right? You just play the MP9s or whatever.
Yeah, the warm-up servers that that's sick. But yeah, that lets you play with the MP9s.
Right. The practice pays perfect, and well, right now the Highlanders, they're perfect and they're practiced. 5 still alive. It's Blue left alone, and he's in the T tunnel area and towards B. But well, what can he do?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I talked about the unified mid effort coming through, and actually we're seeing it from UC Riverside. You're seeing the effectiveness of kind of a collapse in middle. You can see even when they go for aggressive movements and you have opening picks given their way, that even still on the retreat of underpass, they send 2 players through connector smoke as well, and it is a little bit too much to deal with for any team, to be honest with you. And so maybe in this first half they can take some pages out of the books, but they still need to find a kill. Finally done so. Dante's the first to go down, but quickly traded from Redux and off to the races here. in our first map.
Well, then, well, I'm sure Dante doesn't really love the one next to his death counter. All he loses is an MP9, so it's really not that big a deal. UC Riverside. And Cal Poly slow. Well, losing out that first gun round, and, I mean, it was one of those blink and you miss it type of fast rounds where ultimately the one player blue left alive took a while to get found out, but still, a strong start for the Highlanders.
God, no kidding. Looking very strong at the moment, and it's Birds and Suds finding a lot of that success as well. Right now, those two have been pretty consistently finding multi-kills. 6 kills on Birds, 7 on Suds. Looking pretty good. As the timeout does expire, we'll be back into the action here once again. And it's at a half investment with a lot of utility bought out as well. And I'm interested to see what Kyle Poly Slow have in store for us with that utility.
Well, looks like they might be setting up for an execute. Oh my goodness, Device has just run straight through that Molly. Bird is gonna get rid of him with ease. Josu on the follow-up. And that Molly bought so much time, split the push, and created the opportunity for that triple kill for Bird. This time it's Josu to pick up the other two. A full house once again.
Locking things down quite nicely so far. I mean, you can see the effectiveness of that firepower. I do like that Cal Poly's slower. At least they're getting themselves a nice execution factor going on, which is pretty solid. They tried it, but I think they probably should have waited out the Molly for sure. And some nice utility being thrown out. Good top of connector smoke thrown out from T-spawn. So they got a good game plan. Looking to take the mid-control off of that. Molly is pretty brutal here to deal with and push. He found out their opening kill, but Josu has a quick answer back at the very least. It's a 4-on-4, and again, effective utility usage on the T side at least.
Well, the bad news here realistically is that this 4v4 is absolutely the best we've seen. Bird finding a timing, not even worried about the possibility of that player inside of the A apartments, and it's unfortunate. So Device sitting in Palace, really not being effective. He really needed to swing and find the trade on Bird.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, Bird is dead here for sure, but he actually is able to walk away with the kill and no response. Now that might actually open up potential here in the future, but no, Bird continues to hold the line and swift dismissal of any sort of hope.
Oh man.
Oh man, yeah.
Quickest time for things that Caster says to just not happen. Oh. You turn around and Bird's just fragging 2 more players with headshots across the mouth. Oh, man. Now, Paulie, what do you need to see from them to change? I mean, obviously the lack of trade right there, that's a really good example of the overall problems that they've been having, but what's that being caused by underlying, do you think?
It's tough to really put a pin on it because they are struggling to trade, and that's like the number one thing in this game is finding trades. If you are able to do that on the T side, then you can win T rounds. But like you had said, no real contention on that. We've only seen 2 kills so far, and overall, that's a bit of a problem.
I just realized that. That's outrageous.
Yeah.
It's round 6.
Yeah. That's why.
Yeah. It sure is. It sure is. This is a bit of a ham-fisted buy, and I say that because there's a couple Gleals here. KCO has already fallen. Tezzin, excuse me. I wanted to say Tinsin or something. I don't know why, but...
Who's that guy?
I don't know. Tezzin. I do apologize, my friend.
You are?
You are important, and your name is important to me. 5-0 though is that score line, and it's not changing. I like that we're getting a little bit different here. Playing in mid, finally getting that mid control is something that we just haven't seen. And Josu is caught with his nades out. And that's another opener here. That's beautiful.
That's really big pickup right there. And on top of that, they've slowed things down. We're kind of hoping for this sort of collapse coming through from Dante's, but the issue is he gets caught off guard there, so Device gets taken care of, and They are holding out this mid default, but if you take a look at your timer on the top of your screen, there's only 20 seconds left to work with, and there's still a playoff on Catwalk figured out, though, and answers to be had. CT spawn being pressed upon, and no kills yet delivered. The op of Suds not finding any success, but oh no, not this. One of the backlines here. Bird, 16 to 0. Finding all 3 kills. Oh my god. I mean, we might even see a record be broken here.
Oh boy. Yeah, 16-0, 7 rounds in. Oh my goodness.
I mean, I thought 22 kills was going to be the most we saw in like 10 rounds, but maybe Bird has something to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, when we were setting this up, we thought this was going to be a one-sided affair, but right now, it's far even beyond what we were anticipating. Bird, well, he's been dispatched with. That's his first death. Not before you can find one, so it's on the AWP. 7. Tries to get boosted. Tries to boost one player up. Josu, he's the one to meet his maker. Pushing forward, opt out, and well, Josu does meet his maker, but just 2 kills. I mean, considering the amount of frags overall in this game for SLO, you gotta actually say this was a great eco round.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to find some success to get a bomb plant down as well, which is not really too much of a factor in terms of the economy sense, but at least you're able to get some ground here. You found trades, and that's a good sign here. If they can continue to maybe pull that same sort of level of execute off and just, you know, utilize an AK instead of the pistols that they had right there, then there's potential to get some rounds on the board here soon. But they do have to pull up with that same level of firepower like they did in the previous game. Suds is past the smoke, but will fall off.
That HE is going to do big damage.
Ouch.
She had the Vice. He basically caught that in his pocket. 55 is pretty much max damage for an HE with full armor. So, start you're looking for if you are playing with a rifle or any gun for that matter. KCO.
Okay.
How is he alive? I mean, I don't understand, but it's fascinating. And that's absolutely brilliant. Blue in the game, on the board, and through. Redux is trying to fight things back here. It's a 3 versus 4. Bird making life miserable. What a shot by Blue. Traded by Dante, sure, but still, you got to be impressed. The moves here coming through from Cal Polytechnic. They're doing their best.
Percent CT flank as well. They're waiting for that to really be pulled at the moment. They have the bomb in their hands, but again, that CT flank is everything. Aggression coming through from Dantes. Is he going to beat this flank? He does find the one towards Tetris. Missed opportunity. Oh my god, that second headshot was absolutely stunning. And they will find the round. You see Riverside continue, although that, again, I feel like further down the line, we do see more and more success. We see this T side start to get a little more warmed up. It just is, you know, players like Dante and Bird just kind of shutting things down.
You know, one of the things that I like to talk about, right, is as you get higher and higher in level of play, it's a different pace, right? This is a good example, right? Bird getting so aggressive so consistently and not being able to be shut down. So it takes some time, really, to adjust to that pace of play if you're not used to it, and clearly that's the case for for this team here.
Mm-hmm.
And so the longer that they get to deal with it, the more rounds that they get to deal with it, the more they'll be able to adjust to it.
100%. And on top of that, you can see there is an experience gap right there. That Molly really favors that fight for Bird. I mean, when you are trying to hold that angle in your spin right there, you can almost see nothing but just, you know, the burning of the flames, and that's about it. And now execution in towards B left a little bit lacking, considering it is a 5v3 with 3 players left up to the site. Redux is going to spray them down. Suds helps out and quickly close there off the early success from UC Riverside.
After a couple of rounds in a row of things looking better each round, UC Riverside pull another perfect one out of their back pocket. Cal Poly slow down with the loss bonus and everything, able to buy every round.
There you go. I mean, at least you got that. You got the firepower, but again, going through the flames, that is ambitious.
Molly.
Yeah, those things hurt quite a bit. The HGs that followed through as well. That jungle smoke, a bit of a gap in it as we push forward. Bird only good for 1 so far, and They're actually gathering space here into the 8-bomb site. Redux looking to deny it from the top ropes upstairs. The trades are had, but not in their favor. The numbers just overwhelmed from Highlanders, and they hold on strong.
Well, Bird does hit 21 in 10 rounds. So,
Oh my god.
you know, it's close enough. Either way, interesting that we're seeing Cal Poly go for a save. I mean, based on their buys, they really had enough to probably get something out weapons-wise. But instead, not to be. Redux, low HP, the P250, good for device. Even hits a headshot in towards Suds, who is going to be felled by Sven shortly thereafter.
That aggression just will keep continuing, and they actually handled it pretty well considering the pistols once again, but it does get dismissed as they just keep on throwing numbers at the problem. Islanders, one man falls in connector, a 2-man fall. There's one up cat that you have to deal with. There's one more that's just swinging right afterwards, so you can very clearly see. And like you said, they just struggle with the sort of pace that's being thrown at them for UC Riverside, and it's hard to blame them. It's just always ever present, the CT aggression, in your face play style.
Well, you know, and that's what an experienced player / team of experienced players is going to do. They're going to get aggressive until you stop. And right now, well, Cal Poly just can't do that. They are not able to stop them. Now, maybe this is the turning of the tide. Bird has pushed forward. This is the first time Bird has died without a kill in a round, I think. As push on to A is successful. Shots to the smoke as Suds does some big damage. And more than that, Redux over the top. He's found some openings. And with that, left to Sven, who's on the flank. Suds hears it. Goes for the spam. Loses his life, but it's not planted for him.
No. Oh, thank you, Sven. None of that funny business.
Get out of here.
Yeah. I feel like that lacking of stair smoke was a big flaw in the execution right there, but maybe not really afforded to them either here. But with that bomb plant, they can't afford everything in this round. 12-0. Riverside already off to the races at the moment. Another molly goes in, but here comes this triple connector peak. So much presence there early on, but a great usage of the kill. The molly goes on out. And again, these openers, they are punishing for this mid-aggression. You'll take a 1-for-1 trade here in the 4v4. Can they continue to capitalize off of it?
Remember, I mean, in a perfect world, 1v1 or 1-for-1 trades are great for the T side. Unfortunately, that hasn't bore fruit thus far for Cal Poly. Though, you know, you can hope. Now, with the 4v4, they're going to regroup. This is exactly why that 4v4 is so advantageous. You regroup, you hit a site together, you know, more than likely max 2 players at the site.
Yeah, the issue is this positioning right now from Josu's so good at the moment. They're executing in towards bombs, but actually another kill going forward here. Suds drops, Redux finds success right back. And again, they still have to deal with this palace position. They seem somewhat aware, but catching the backside of one. And a double, spotting out jungle as well. Hits a dink. Comes in down low. But it's another headshot. Ooh. Dante in a 1v1. Could be spotted out here, but again, low on HP. Takes the headshot approach, but no, Dante just spams him through the wall. What on earth was that? Either way, a nice attempt. Almost conversion, but not quite.
Attention, showing off some nice fragging potential there, but I mean, it's sort of too late for those sort of thoughts and well, you know, nice try kind of deal. Like it's 13-0.
Yeah.
You need routes. Those are what matter at this point.
I mean, it's not like economic damage is going to play a factor in this half, at least. So there really wasn't much winning there, even though it was a close one. She can gain some confidence off of the back of that, but it's very little here as Redux continues to strike from Catwalk, just lining up 3 kills. Execution in towards B into Dante's, who, you know, has been very patient here. You know, the B anchor, he doesn't get much action. Finally does get to shine, though, as he grabs him in the 14th round. And we've seen a lot of full houses in this from 2 players just finding multiples. I think that's a testament to how good this UC Riverside team is. You know, they're just so capable with their firepower of cleaning up everything.
Exactly. And you're right. I mean, Dante has been very patient. That B anchor position, I know, because I tend to play that position, that it can be a bit daunting and frustrating at times when you're dominating in this manner. Like, well, can I get into the game? No, they just don't go B. But can we see the perfect half? I mean, I unofficially guessed that we'd be looking at a potential like 16-4 or 16-3 here, and right now that's looking not only unlikely, but looking like it might go the other direction.
Yeah, another just palace swap and execution, trying to get that execution back. They got a lot of volleys down at least. I think they're struggling to find the entries at the moment. Like them to utilize this AWP presence, not quite making its way out of ramp. And now it is just Blue, who's been pretty good all game. Denying the funny business, Bird. No way you get away with that. And he's able to pick up the Negev. Now he's got some BM of his own. See if he can gather anything. I'm sure that Big T would like this. What is going on? Wait a second. Oh my god. The fight coming on through. Okay, Josu denies. Oh boy.
I mean, you know, props to Cal Poly here. You know, they're denying the ridiculousness. They're not letting Highlanders get too far ahead of themselves. And at this point, you got to take your wins where they are, and that is a win in my book. So,
oh yeah,
15-0. Are we going to see the coveted 16-0? This will be. We've already seen a 16-0 on the season, haven't we?
I think we have in last week. First series.
Yeah. Pretty sure we did see a 16-0.
We'll see if they can grab pistol. Maybe potential. Diving in towards window. This isn't what you see all that often here for a pistol round. And Sven's putting up a good defense against it. Can't get it out, but it doesn't need to. Standing tall, able to get the reload off. One more to deal with. Josu hanging about. He could deny 16-0, but Josu still standing tall here with one. Can't find another, though. Big pickup from Blue, and there you go. Dante's in a 1v3. He has the post plant, but no armor.
Couple flashes to work with, though. See how that goes. Oh, he might be caught in a weird position. No, he hits the double headshot. In fact, he's going to reposition just a little bit. As it's already following. Oh my goodness, Dante. It's possible. Low health for him. And the shots are fired. Blue hits it. He's denied it. No 16-0 to be found here for the Highlanders. Cal Poly, shut it down.
There we go. Staying alive here in the first map. Denying the 16-0. Lovely stuff. And Blue, I mean, he's been hitting some nice shots. I feel like he definitely is the one with the more experience on this roster at the moment. At least that is the vibes I'm getting from him. He's been looking pretty good despite the scoreline. Right now, he drops over that A1S. He's going to rock with the Deagle here. I'm interested to see that.
We picked it up from, who had the Deagle?
Josu, I believe.
Josu, yes. Yeah, you're right. Looks like the same Deagle at the very least.
Yeah.
So, see if things can be changed here. Of course, the Highlanders have bought themselves in here. Eagle shots. All Blue. That's unfortunate. So the 16-0 stopped, but the 16-1, not so much. Cole, that was a bit of a rough one for the UC Riverside side of things, wasn't it?
Yeah, and again, when you have matches like these, the only thing that you can really take away is that, you know, it was going to happen against a roster like as good as UC Riverside, 4th place finishers last season. So there's no really walking away with a victory overall in this. And in terms of maps, I think that was a bit of a stretch. But, you know, at least you can look into certain ways and how UC Riverside was able to punish your defaults. And that can actually allow for rapid growth, which, of course, is kind of the hope here for Collegiate. And so if Cal Poly Slow can look things back over and see where the gaps were, see where the trades failed to come through, and then there's some silver linings in this matchup that is very one-sided.
Absolutely the case, but with that, we are going to be headed in towards a short break whilst we get Nuke prepared. That's UC Riverside's pick. If you forgot that Mirage was Cal Poly Slow's, no matter that pick, there's always a chance to come back. Stay tuned, and we'll see if we can see that happen. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to what is currently a pretty domineering series. You see Riverside up by 1. But before we get into the second map, which is Nuke, by the way, I want to tell you a little bit about Ground News. They're home to over 180,000 mindful news readers who use their industry-first coverage analysis tool to adopt balanced news diet. Ground News community is home to people from across the political spectrum. No small feat in an increasingly divided world. Here at NACE Starleague, we want you to be a part of that community too. Go ahead and check them out on whatever app store you use. And, well, looks like the teams are ready to go, Cole, because we're already into the pistol, baby.
Yeah, the news is in. This is, I guess it's not new news, is it? 4v1, start off the pistol, and a bunch of chaos ensued. That's some nice movement from Bird, though. I like the moves he had going on there.
True. This is old news. 1-0 by UC Riverside.
We've been here before.
Oh, man. Yeah, listen, big respect here to Cal Poly Slow, but this is going to be a hard uphill battle for them no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, it was always going to be this way, considering that this is, if I'm not mistaken, the full Russia that they're bringing it back once again. But okay, look at this defense. Early on, they're able to shut things down. They've got the MP9 in the mix there. Bird goes down. It's a 1v3 for Dante. He slipped by this gap, but little does he know. They're all closing in. Does he have bombs? Where's that dropped? Okay, no, it's dropped in T-spawn at the moment, so he's going to have to collect that. He's going to have to collect kills. Everyone's closing in on him now. He's able to drop down. He lands a headshot. They almost line up for him, and he has a Glock out. He's just looking to take them all down. Oh, God, he hasn't even taken a point of damage at the moment. Sven left last man standing, left terrified, wondering what happened. The rest of his team, as they've all fallen down. Don't grab that AK. That's just made his noise, revealing his position. Now, he's just been smoked in. He's going to push right past it. There's still 55 seconds left to move, but look where he's repositioned. Making no noise here. That could be pristine.
But Dante's gonna have to start wondering, okay, where is Sven? Because it really wouldn't be smart to be sitting in the exact same position over there, especially not knowing where the bomb is, right? Yeah, and Dante is interested in this, but as soon as he finds that bomb's not being watched, he's gonna know what's gone down. And oh no, Sven's getting the wrong idea. I think he's dropping to B.
Well, I mean, it might be all right. He's in. Oh no, he actually is more committed. Inside the ladder. Okay, he has quick transition in towards A if he so chooses, but already slipping by here. I think he might have misheard the footsteps. Dante's gonna get a safe plant in here. Sven. Oh, he reveals his position by making that noise there. Flashman goes in between the silos, jumping around, and oh man,
No!
Dante pulls off the impossible. A 1v3 clutch with a MAC-10, and he upgrades onto the AK, and Cal Poly Slow. I mean, that was a really good looking round, but just couldn't convert.
Yeah, it was KCO who found the big triple with the MP9, and then unfortunately once he fell, everyone else really did drop the ball. And not to assign too much blame, but really is important once you have the advantage to play it effectively, not give over 1v1s like they did. You see Riverside now with an even bigger gun advantage. Oh, no, how did Josu be so aware of KCO there? I guess maybe some noise was made. Either way, Blue with a nice headshot before he's taken out. Means Device the last one alive.
Ability in the store there. It will go down. Poor Bird. But the trades are offered up there. Yeah, great play right there. Again, I'm seeing some nice signs out of Blue. I talked about him a little bit in the last match, but he definitely looks to have some skill. He looks to be a step ahead of some of his teammates there, and that could be an asset as well. I mean, even if your teammates aren't up to your full level, at least you can try and teach them things that are important in terms of fundamentals. Counter-strike here, nice and Molly coming through, and there's a double stack in towards ramp. Able to go for one so far, lining up multiples. Blue only able to collect a single. And now they have B site control already. No one's really quick in rotation. Device makes it down the vent, but a little too late, and they've already collected site.
Yeah, some consistent unsureness, I think, and that might be some unfamiliarity with the map. In all honesty, right? That is a possibility, but unsure whether it's A or B, and I mean that's hard on the best of times, for being really honest. Josu gets one. Sven to look for the trade. As I say that with Dante out, he was the crucial 1v3 winner. And he's now got a double kill here in this round. It's denied that first gun round for Cal Poly Slow, as UC Riverside continue to dominate.
Sure do. The issue is now, look at this. Auto shotty in play. That can really stomp the momentum. Device.
I'm a fan.
Some of the best weaponry. See what he can gather up here. He's playing over in mini. Bit atypical. Oh, okay.
Speaking of atypical, that is an MP7 that Tezen had. Also, I'm a fan of the auto shotty, not as much so the MP7.
There's still two there. Oh my god, they walk out. And now the trades do be found, but it's just blue left last man standing. Molly off now to have any swings to try and commit. No luck there. And you see Riverside continue to streak the rounds together. We did get some auto shotty action though. Device. I wanted to see him keep going for that. At this point, you might as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's very effective in that position. Also effective, the Nova. A little bit, maybe less so. I tend to usually go Mag 7 or the auto shotty, but the Nova's a cheaper alternative, and that's probably the reason it's gone for it.
I'm not trying to get into the trap of consistent force buys. Aggression towards this out of yard board. It's a little late though. And it doesn't stop him from swinging for the fences there. Just collecting all the kills there, but blue and Tezen, they do have something to say at the moment. Last alive standing around in the wrong position though. Fortunately for Tezen. There's plenty of options to go for at the moment. They haven't even made their move in towards the site.
Is that a D-Lure? Did Bird just find a D-Lure on the ground?
Yo, whatever it was, he now has a Nova.
Okay, never mind. Throws away op for Nova or whatever. Either way.
Well, Redux might have picked it up.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see.
And
It doesn't look like it.
yeah.
No. It doesn't look like it. I was mistaken, I guess. And Purtis kept this Nova. He's looking to apply pressure and punish some shotgun users, shotgun abusers more likely. As we get into this gun round. It's going to be hard to close the distance with that thing, but if you get into position, man, can it be deadly.
Not always easy to use it on the T side. CT side, you get to hold an angle, just like Finn. This time he has an A1S from long range. That's good for a kill on Josu, not allowing for that mini collapse that has kind of been Josu's specialty at the moment. In blue, position here in the outer yard. It's the drip wire. Dante's goes down. Tezen. Yeah, one's already slipped by the gap here, and he gets taken down accordingly. Blue does land a nice flick shot. Now mollied off. He should be forced off the line. Oh my god, 10 HP.
Yeah, he took a risk hanging around with that molly, and instead of just getting some fire licking his feet, he got a HE grenade to the face. So, this is a man advantage. 4 versus 2. We've seen this happen before, though. Remember that 1v3? I mean, things have turned from good to bad real darn quickly when it comes to the Highlanders playing against Cal Poly Slow side. Nicely timed molly here for Suds. As Decon is opened wide. I don't think that actually reaches, so KCO not going to be confirming whether or not this is good. Good shots being fired. Redux. Unfortunately, there's no time. The kit was on device, and I don't know if they have it. No, they don't. There was only one kit available, and well, the communication just wasn't there.
That's rough. There's a great retake put together with the man advantage, effective trading. That molly was kind of missed, but you know, details that you can work on. Overall, just yeah, like you said, that communication not really there enough to get the diffuse off here, and so we are kind of getting stuck into these force buy territories that you have to kind of go for at this point. Just trying to win some rounds, get some under your belt here. We trade back and forth though. Nice pickups. Sven continues to hold these outer yard, at least for the opening stages of rounds, pretty nicely.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest with you, that's really when the only place has been consistent. There's blue. Another nice shot. I mean, like you've been talking about him all the time, and I mean, I gotta agree. He definitely has had some flashes of brilliance, but Here we go again, 2v3. Last time it was Highlanders able to pick it up. They got to do it again. This time it's Bird and Redux in the position. Redux pushing himself forward. Bird taking shots. He wins his duel. Bird does as well. Redux, now he has opportunity, misses that shot, but it's Sven between a rock and a hard place. Redux takes a shot. Ichi could find this one. Shots fired. It's Redux. Gonna be able to pick it up. A big fumble there from Sven, not looking in the right direction. As Cal Poly Slow still winless here in map 2.
Yeah. I did get that pistol over on Mirage, but right now it just seems to be back to familiar territory. D side is just kind of running through them, and kind of talked about this. Whenever there's any sort of gap, and you can start to consistently win those 2vx situations, it shows that here Suds going to trade there, but now needs to find a little bit more. Bird is going to find more entries. Bomb's been dropped though, interestingly enough here, so potential to be something. Device has it in his hands, and Blue finds another kill from above. So they still have to retreat bomb, but they're also flanking in the outer yard as well.
Oh my goodness.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, Highlanders, they're everywhere. B, CT spawn, T spawn. I mean, it really is a bit of this, bit of that. Blue, always good to get his. Always gets a frag or two, and Device has one as well. Now it's going to be Josu on the 1v2. Another good situation to potentially win it. Great flash. Blue is spotted around the corner. Molotov out, but he swung wide, but Josu has the shot. Another big clutch for UC Riverside. And that's 3 rounds in a row. The Cal Poly Slow have had an advantage and lost the round.
Yeah, I mean, that was an advantage more so that Blue manufactured, though, in the first place. That started out as a 4v2 in favor of UC Riverside. Just not able to convert when it came down to the last man standing. Nice attempt from Blue. At the end of the day, they still have to find their way into a first CT round here. And there's a nice start. All right, went for the smoke, and they'll take it to elsewhere. That's a great way to kick things off. The 5v2, I mean, this has to be converted on.
Yeah, I was about to say, surely not this too, right? I mean, if there's one thing that you should be able to convert, it's 2v5. All right, from the Cal Poly's perspective, 5v2. There's Dante. Bird's got another. Give him a third. Oh my goodness, it's happening again. Cole, KCO bringing it back, but it's Bird in control once again, and a full minute to work with.
Expect this position. A nice little clothesline coming through. And finally, Cal Poly Slow on the board with a conversion on a clutch. But my God, that would have just... I would have dropped to your stomach right there if that didn't go their way.
I think it would have thrown up a little bit. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Cal Poly Slow, all breathing a collective sigh of relief as they pick up a victory in a must-win situation.
Ow.
Device, you don't have to take that damage, my friend. You could have dropped on the box. It's right next to you.
Missed it barely, but still able to find kills there, tearing through them. Actually, this one, if they win it, this could break the money of UC Riverside. They could really start to string some rounds off of it. Redux has collected the bomb, and they still have to punch in the numbers at the moment. There's not really a safe passage in towards this plant. Mini isn't really confirmed. And he taps it. Not a full committal, but a Tech 9 headshot from Bird on 1 HP. And no way he finds 2. He's nearly taken down, but Sven finally has an answer for him, but equalized still. I mean, this is massive overperformance from Bird, considering on the site his teammate goes down. Dante forced to recover at the Tech 9. He has no armor, but he still finds some success. And Riverside, they win another impossible round.
So, by the way, the last 5 rounds in a row have been decided by a singular player surviving, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
the 2 versus 3s, right? No players for UC Riverside survived before. And then you had the big clutch up in Cal Poly Slow. And then that big clutch in that last round. Things are very close. And both teams on the brink of being broken. Device with the opening frag. That's Bird down. Remember his clutch potential. We've been talking about it all day long. He's out.
Got a lurker in mini here and towards outer yard. Dantes, he finds 2 kills. He doesn't have armor right now either. Tez in his position revealed. Baxter missed rain from Josu. Let's collect at the end of it. Oh, that could have been dicey considering no armor on Dantes as well. Will he buy armor this round? Does he even know he doesn't have it? There you go. He does buy it.
11-1. UC Riverside are just continuing the pain train. This Cal Poly are back to pistols. Seemingly an unwinnable scenario, but we'll see. There's Redux on the anti-eco. Double frag in the position. Bird. Caught with a nade. Oh, what the hell? Oh my gosh. That's ridiculous. One tap clotheslines a man. Ugh. It's beautiful watching some of these players work.
9 long range. Alright.
Reload in the open.
Oh, he does finish it. Able to land the headshot there. Punish the half by. Cal Poly slow. Investments rolling on through here. I mean, maybe they can collect a couple more. I mean, there's been promise. I think if they would have won some clutches, there's a real talk of maybe like 5 or 6 rounds. But again, those clutches didn't go their way. Nice. Ollie, but they've already dropped down the vents, and they're gonna need him as well. Everyone towards secret. This one's gonna be tricky to deal with.
Yes, it is. Well, Dante, Bird, tapping heads, taking names, moving mountains, and dragging out. Here, Redux, another one. Sven does fight back. Dante's no longer part of this equation, but all right. Just the casual nature of those shots,
that's like you stepped on a trap and it just clicked a mouse
We're
button
just
on him.
mulling his 2 teammates. Oh my goodness, what's going on here?
The wise teammate there would stand in the molly and go down so that his teammate that tried to troll him just loses KD.
Yes, see, that's a wise teammate. Not a good teammate, but a wise teammate.
Never do that again, that's for sure.
That's right. Show him who's boss. Well, speaking of who's boss, UC Riverside bossing it here. Last round of the half. ECO, he's been able to find a couple of good openings here. Unfortunately, it's limited to just a singular one. And good for the follow-up, but Redux is playing with fire.
One cut off guard as well. Blue able to connect onto the spray. That bomb has made its way down the vent. That's a bit of a factor. More scary is Dante. Well, first of all, whiffing the spray, landing the transfer. All right, I guess that works out. And Redux is here towards B, able to do some massive damage, but needs to have his back covered. No one is watching ramp at the moment. No, actually, the teammate does come through. Now he's able to have support. The backside is exposed. He does find the kill nonetheless, and will convert onto the second. Redux stands tall, and Blue, he's left last man standing here for a second round with no kit. Odds are slim, and now none as Dantes finishes the job in 1-14.
Man, back-to-back 16-1s. What's your money on, my friend?
I'd have to say so. It depends. CT side pistol was pretty good from UC Riverside, though, if you remember way back when.
That seems like a lifetime ago, despite how quick the games went. But yeah, you're right. Deagles? Doolies. Both of them start with a D. I'll get there eventually. And a couple of flashes, couple of smoke. And it's all out of aggression initially. Doesn't work beautifully at the start, but quickly Blue is in his 1vx that he's so familiar with. Gets 2 before he's felled by the oncoming onslaught. UC Riverside players. Here's the ultimate round of the game, more than likely, based on the amount of weapons, the advantage, etc., etc. But Cal Poly Slow with one more chance.
See what they can get here. But the Pins are going to meet them head-on in ramp room. Collision course. And it will be a 2-for-1 trade at the least, but Suds is still standing pretty healthy. That Molly will keep them at bay. They're collapsing into the ramp room as well, but turning around. All right, Suds. That's not going to work for you. Oh, man. Got the Bison from Bird.
Oh, man. That gun is so ridiculous. It's like having an automatic clock.
It really is. It's a good way to put it.
Does about as much damage as that stupid clock. Oh my goodness, it's a sniper rifle! Dante! Those guys had armor! Stop! It's not fair! I'm telling you, the auto shot is broken.
It really is. It really is. And you saw the Bison was broken as well towards the tail, and he was sniping them away, doing some great damage. But overall, yeah, that was the series we kind of expected in a one-sided nature. You know, maybe Cal Poly Slow with their map victory, they could have put up a better fight. Blue was a real, shining star on that team and shows some serious potential. But overall, UC Riverside coming back into the things and showing that they are a force to be reckoned with for any team taking them on.
Yeah, I mean the Highlanders. We set it up at the beginning. We were like, listen, they took 4th overall in the playoffs last semester, and there's a real world in which they could have done even better. I think they got caught off guard against a couple of those later teams, and weren't able to take it all the way. But regardless, they were incredible all the way through. So it's not unexpected to see them do something similar here. And we also set up the Cal Poly Slow. They were playing an uphill battle from an experience standpoint here on from the very beginning, right? Like I don't think any of the players in for this Cal Poly side have anything more than open and a little bit of IM experience at the most, if any. And some don't have any. So it's just so hard when you're out experienced in such a significant way.
Yeah, 100%. That was it. And I think that kind of got shown very early on in that first map, where that CT side aggression, that sort of pace that was constantly put on them, was it showed that they weren't ready to deal with it. And you put it really well when you said that if you're not able to punish it, then why would UC Riverside ever stop? And that's kind of what we've seen throughout the whole series, was them just never stopping with their pushes, never stopping with their aggression. And again, like I said, there's some things to be made from this loss. There's always a learning experience, and if you can figure out, again, how to trade more effectively from this, if you can figure out how to, work off each other better on executes, then there's something to be said about this. Even though there was limited rounds to be had.
Well, I mean, let's just talk. If we're gonna be critical here, let's talk. Things to improve on just from the outset. Right, you talk about the idea for Cal Poly. Well, you got to convert those 3v2s. Right, you have an advantage. Play together. Get ready to trade those out. But I'm hearing that Dante is ready to get started with an interview here. And Dante, UC Riverside, fantastic victory, my friend. How are you guys doing?
We're feeling pretty good. It's business as usual. It's fun to play. It's always fun to play collegiate CS, especially just us goofing around a little bit. But we always take it seriously, so it's fun.
Yeah, we all certainly dominated this game, and well, in all honesty, Cole and I, we were very much expecting that. I mean, y'all finished 4th overall last season, and y'all are looking to do something similar. 2-0 start now. Let me just ask: do you think that you guys can better that 4th overall placement in this season? I mean, there's some heavy hitters, but you guys are among them.
Well, yeah, there's been a lot of team changes around the collegiate scene. So some people lost, like specifically MTU, they lost one of their biggest advantages, right, with voltage. So there's quite a few teams like that lost someone either to make space for them to be able to play like MDL or ECL, I think they call it now. So there are a lot of teams that we could push ahead on. So I think we might get higher than 4th this season. It all depends. But Drexel was was and is insane. They were the only team we lost to. We we lost to them twice in playoffs, so
Yeah,
we'll have
yeah.
to
I
see
mean,
where that goes.
they were the overall victors as well. So I mean, there was no
Yep.
shame in that. They were able to take down a Davenport that I think everyone was really talking up. And I mean, I guess after this one, we can, maybe stray away from that game that was pretty one-sided. You guys knew exactly what you were doing. You guys probably were hopping into that one feeling very confident. But I mean, I guess talking about your group right now and where you're situated, is there any teams that you're looking out for that could challenge you all?
Well, right now, I would consider the West Division pretty weak, but our hardest matchup was probably Arizona, who we faced in the first week.
Mhm.
But other than that, there might be a few close maps, but I think overall we should be able to finish this group about the same way we did last time, go undefeated.
Yeah.
So the Tritons, I think it's UC San Diego is
Well, yeah,
those
UCSD.
guys have a
They used to
go
have
ahead.
a very strong team, but last year a lot of them graduated. So like
Mm.
we know a lot of those guys at UCSD, so it's gonna be fun. But realistically, I think we can still win that one fairly easily.
I love the confidence.
Mhm.
That's fantastic. Just to go back to one question about that game in particular, over on Nuke, you were able to pull a big 1v3 clutch with a Mac 10 and a Glock. You want to talk me through the thought process there just a little bit?
Well, that round I was kind of just running around. I got into heaven and didn't really see anyone, so I could kind of suss out that they were all towards lobby, right? And they gave me the 1v1s. They let me get behind silos, and they fought me from each side, so it was pretty easy to get get the 1v1s and just finish it out. And especially at
Cool.
the end of it, when the guy went down vents, I was able to clear lobby, clear outside, so and then eventually obviously win it out. So
Cool. Any other questions here for Dante?
No. I'm just looking forward to seeing more of you. You guys showed a great face, and I mean, I liked watching you all last season. I can't wait to see you all try and outpace yourselves now from last season.
well, yeah, thank you guys.
And
I really appreciate it all.
before we let you go, anybody want to shout out, say hello to?
Well, of course, shout out to the team, all the boys. They're sitting in call, probably watching me right now. So it's nice. And I love you guys casting these games. It's great for the scene. It's great to watch, even when it isn't our team. I love watching these streams. I love you guys. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. With that, we do have to say goodbye to Dante. Again, congratulations to both you and UC Riverside. And, well, with that, Cole, a sad time has occurred once more. It's time for us to probably say goodbye. But before we do that, I do want to take a look at what the NACE Starleague has to offer here on stream. Is our schedule. Rocket League, Overwatch, that's happening on Monday. League of Legends to follow up on Tuesdays. And if you're interested in some more of the more FPS-based action, Call of Duty Vanguard is now being played over on Wednesdays. And of course, you don't want to miss us on Friday. I mean, it's the best show. I know, no bias, of course.
Yeah, right.
But of course, you don't want to miss it. So make sure to come in same time, same place next week for Counter-Strike. But with that, yes. Cole, final thoughts before we head out.
Oh, I mean, like you said, make sure you tune in for all of the broadcasts. Rocket League looking good. I'm actually enjoying myself a good bit of watching some Rocket League. So make sure you tune in on Monday for that. But of course, yeah, join us back here next Friday for some more Counter-Strike action. We have a whole lot in store.
That we do. With that, have a great rest of your evening and a fantastic weekend from us here at the NACE Starleague. We'll see you next week.